What you're about to watch here today is a 2,000-mile road trip in my brand new 2025 Ioniq 5 limited all-wheel drive. This car is the first non-Tesla to have a native NACS charging port, which means it can now charge on the Tesla supercharger network with no adapter. Last week, I flew out to Colorado to pick up the car, and I'm driving it back to Boston. So in this video, you're gonna see from start to finish, all the planning, all the charging stops, everything going through my head. I give you some of my first thoughts on the changes they've made with the car. So if that's something you're interested in, then stay tuned. But I wanna kind of get some things out of the way before we jump in, because there's a lot of you who aren't going to watch this from start to finish. So I just want to talk about the big takeaways from this road trip. So let's just kind of start from the beginning, and that is, why did I go to Colorado to buy my Ioniq 5? Well, around here in New England, there weren't a lot of cars showing up on the evfinder.com, which is the go-to place to find the latest information on where these cars are being delivered to and which dealerships. And I really wanted to be one of the first people to get the car, so I started looking around the country. I posted about it on my Facebook group. Kyle Connor from Out of Spec called me, and he was like, "Hey, have you talked to the electric principal out in Fort Collins, Colorado?" He's another YouTuber. He also works at Crossroads Hyundai. I started talking with him. He said his dealership was going to do everything they could to get me the car that I wanted, which was digital teal with the dark green interior. Unfortunately, they weren't able to get me one, but one of their competitors in the area, Stevenson Hyundai of Frederick, had the exact car that I wanted on the lot. So I said, I want that car. I will be out in 2 days to come and get it. So I booked a flight and I went out and got it. Stevenson was great to work with. If you guys are in the Denver area and are interested in getting one of these new 2025s, if you go to Stevenson and mention Ioniq Guide 2025, they will give you a $500 discount on your car. So keep that in mind. Be sure to mention that if you do go there. So after I picked up the car, I shot some videos with Out of Spec. You might have seen the charging comparison with Jordan's Model 3. And then we also had a meetup at Crossroads Hyundai that night. A bunch of you came out. I think there must have been at least 20, 25 people that came. We had some pizza, talked about the cars. It was a great time meeting everybody in person and just hanging out for an hour and a half. Bob, the electric principal, actually put me up in his house that night. Super grateful to that. Had a fun time getting to hang out with Bob. He's a real nice guy. Stay tuned, because we'll probably have some collaborations in the future. So the next morning was time to head out on the open road. So my plan was to take I-70 out of Denver, go east through Kansas, and then connect to I-80 and take that through Pennsylvania to 84, and then 84 to the Mass Pike back to Boston. It ended up being a little over 2,000 miles total. So part of the other reason why I wanted to kind of road trip was I don't think there's any better way to experience all the changes that they made to this car for the 25 model year, besides just getting in the car and spending 3 straight days in it. So I will have chapters for this video. If you're interested in just going to a section where I talk about some of the changes, you can check out that chapter. But other than that, I will break it up into day 1, day 2, and day 3. Spoiler alert, day 3 really sucked. It basically snowed from 6:30 a.m. until I got back to central Connecticut at about 9:30 p.m. It was just a real slog that day, but I made it in one piece. But for those of you who aren't going to watch this whole video, let's talk about how the charging went and my big takeaways from life with the NACS port on the 2025 Ioniq 5. So I've got a spreadsheet that I made up here with every single one of my charging stops. In total, we did 18 charging sessions. Our average efficiency over those 2,000 miles was 2.3 miles per kilowatt hour. Now, I know you're saying that seems really low. And you're right, because the temperatures were really cold. There were days where I was driving in 15 degrees, 10 degrees Fahrenheit. I'll have conversions to Celsius on the screen, but it was very cold. There was some wind, but my lowest efficiency drives were in Topeka and heading to Boonville, Missouri, where I averaged 1.9 and 1.8 miles per kilowatt hour. That Topeka one was 116.6 miles, and the Boonville stretch was 85.4 miles. And you'll see my average speed in that Boonville stretch wasn't even that high, 69 miles per hour. So looking at the distance traveled between charging stops, the average ended up being 107 miles, and the average time that it took to drive those 107 miles was an hour and 42 minutes, which for me is a pretty good amount of travel time. I do need to use the bathroom after about an hour and 45 minutes. And then you can see our average speed for the entire trip was about 64 miles per hour. So in terms of traffic, the only times I really hit traffic were rush hour in Indianapolis and rush hour going through the Scranton, Pennsylvania area. So all in all, it wasn't too bad. It was mostly smooth sailing. Let's talk about the thing you're probably most interested in, and that is charging sessions. So you'll see here, I used a plethora of chargers. I used Electrify America, EV Go stations at Pilot Flying J's. I used Tesla superchargers. I used Ioniq stations. I really wanted to use a good mix of charging stations just to get a better sense of those networks. Hyundai doesn't offer an unlimited Electrify America charging plan anymore, so I wasn't really incentivized to use Electrify America stations at first. I did find out at the first station that I could utilize my existing plan for my 2022 Ioniq 5, but later in the trip, I started having issues with that, so I just started tapping to pay because it seemed to be working more reliably. So I did get a few free charging sessions, 1, 2, 3, 4 at Electrify America, but there were 1, 2, 3, 4 other charging stops at EA that I did end up paying for out of pocket. So across all those charging sessions, my average amount of energy delivered into the battery, 47.9 kilowatt hours. Our average charging time across all of these charging stops was 20 minutes, which oddly enough is exactly what Hyundai quotes 10 to 80% with the 2025 Ioniq 5. So that is good to see that it is actually meeting that criteria. And then the average cost per charging session, $20.85. And this is where you're going to start to see a big disparity. Tesla superchargers, relatively cheap compared to Pilot Flying J stations. Some of the PFJs were 63 cents per kilowatt hour, while the Tesla superchargers are 42 cents per kilowatt hour. So if you're willing to give up 10 minutes of your time, you could potentially save 33% by going to a slightly slower Tesla supercharger. Now, in terms of total, energy delivered 862.4 kilowatt hours. Total amount of time spent charging, 5 hours and 39 minutes. And then the total amount of money I spent on charging, $375.24. Had I not found a hotel the first night with free level 2 charging, it'd be a little bit more. It'd probably be closer to $400. So now let's kind of talk about charging experiences across these 4 networks. So let's kind of rank them. So I have a new favorite charging network as it stands today, and that is going to be the Pilot Flying J EVgo stations. They're so nice. You've got the canopies, you've got plug-in charge, or they call it auto charge, I think, on the EVgo network, where you literally just put the adapter onto the CCS1 handle at the charger, plug it into the car, and it just initiates charging. You don't have to do anything. No app, no credit card, nothing. And every single time I used it, it worked flawlessly. And they're always at good locations with bathrooms, food, usually washer fluid to wash your windows, trash cans, just things that you would want on a road trip. So I think after PFJ, my next favorite stations from the trip are going to be Ioniq. Ioniq has potential to be number 1, but because there's so few and far between, I'm not going to rank it my top choice right now. But man, having the native NACS cables on their chargers, really nice. The interface to utilize their chargers, also really nice. Similar to PFJ, you're usually at a good location. Both the ones I used were at Sheetz, bathrooms, amenities, everything you could want. So you have the native NACS cable, and you also have full charging power, unlike at the Tesla superchargers. So it's really the best of both worlds. I can't wait for Ioniq to open more locations. Hopefully more are coming soon in 2025. After Ioniq, I'm going to have to say Tesla. The superchargers are obviously slower right now because they're utilizing V3 technology, not V4, which is up to 1,000 volts. These are high voltage cars, so in order to get full charging power, you need high voltage equipment, and Tesla just hasn't implemented that at their superchargers yet. It's a real shame, but once they do, you'll be able to charge at full power at superchargers. Having the native NACS connector, again, is a huge win. Superchargers are almost always at good locations. They're also in some more remote locations where some of these other players aren't yet. Like there were a few instances where I used the Tesla superchargers where there was literally no other option in the area. And had it not been there, I would have had to find a hotel and charge at a level 2 charger for hours on end. So it really was a saving grace going through Pennsylvania. Now, had it been summer and been warmer and I had better efficiency, it wouldn't have been a problem. But here in the dead of winter with 15, 20 degree temperatures, I really needed to stop a lot more often. And the superchargers are almost always cheaper than their competition, so that was also a win for them. Now, last and certainly least is Electrify America. So if you guys saw the I-90 Surge race that I did over the summer with Out of Spec, I kind of was surprised how good EA worked. That is not the case with this trip. EA worked horribly on this trip. Not in terms of charging speed. Charging speed was almost always good, but the initiation process was an absolute nightmare. If I had hair, I would have ripped it all out. I would say of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 charging sessions at EA, at least 6 of them were just so difficult to get going, swapping handles, trying to put the adapter back onto the connector, broken handles, just the gamut, the app freezing, not communicating with the charger. Apparently they don't take American Express either. My business credit card is American Express and it got declined at every single one. So I had to use my personal credit card. I just cannot stress how annoying using Electrify America was. And on future road trips with this new Ioniq 5, I'm going to go out of my way to not use Electrify America. I'm talking losing 3 to 5 minutes of time at these charging stops just to get the session activated. It's just so ridiculous. This is even on their new equipment. How does Electrify America not have like what EVgo has, where you just plug in, it gets some information from the car and just initiates the charging session? EA has been out now for what? 5 years, 6 years or so? Even more. Electrify America has existed for 8 years now. I really hope that Ioniq just crushes them. Because if this is the experience for a new EV driver, somebody getting one of these brand new shiny 2025 Ioniq 5s, and they're spending 3 to 5 minutes at a charging station just trying to get it started, they're going to say to hell with this. And don't just take my word for it. You can see the footage throughout this video of me struggling at almost every EA station. But enough of bashing EA. I did have great charging sessions at EVgo, Ioniq, and Tesla. The Tesla handshake with the Ioniq 5 now is insane. As long as you have the app ready to select the charging station and initiate it, within 10 seconds, you're charging. It's even quicker than EVgo. It's quicker than Ioniq. Something to keep in mind, though, that almost got me. When I was in kind of rural Pennsylvania, one of these superchargers I stopped at, I had really poor cell phone service. And if you don't have cell phone service, because these V3 pedestals do not have the little screen on them with the payment, you cannot initiate a charging session if you don't have cell phone service. So keep that in mind. So I think that's really where I want to leave you guys at this point before you actually join me on the road trip. Before we jump into the video though, I wanted to let you know that if you are buying one of these 2025 Ioniq 5s, I do have a bunch of accessories already available for it. The automatic door locking device works with the Ioniq 5. I've got the cup holder enlargers for the front cup holders, for the rear seat cup holders, the charging light indicator cover. I am also going to have a holster for the glove box to put your J1772 to NACS adapter for level 2 charging in, because I learned on this road trip when you leave it in the center console, it just rolls around because it's round shaped. And that really drove me crazy. I ended up putting it in my backpack so it would stop rolling. But now there will be a holster that conveniently holds it in the glove box. All of these can be seen on my website at ioniqguy.com, or if you're outside of the US, on my Etsy shop. Both links will be in the description below. But now let's jump to Fort Collins, Colorado. Hey everybody. It is the morning of the road trip back to Boston from Fort Collins, Colorado. So I'm sitting here in my brand new 2025 Ioniq 5 limited all-wheel drive. I've got 99% state of charge on my battery. It's estimating 214 miles of range, and we're gonna head to Kansas City. I want to stop for barbecue for dinner tonight, so I'm gonna plan on stopping at a place called Jack Stacks that has really good reviews, and everybody's told me I should go there. So I'm gonna set that as my destination this morning. Ideally, I would like to get east of St. Louis tonight, but that's probably a stretch. It's gonna be a really long day if I do that, probably 15, 16 hours. And I don't know if I have that in me. It's currently 7:30 here in Fort Collins, so I'd be rolling in to St. Louis around probably 8 or 9 o'clock tonight, depending on how long I take for dinner. But yeah, right now, the built-in route planning is telling me to take I-80, which I don't want to do because there's a bunch of chargers on I-70 that I want to check out, including the Rivian Adventure Network. So I'm going to use Google Maps right now because there's no way I can force the system to get me there. Actually, I guess I could just pick a random stop somewhere along there. Maybe I'll do that instead. So I'll just pick a random location on I-70 between here and Kansas City, and then we'll just use that to kind of hop along the chargers today. So before we head out, I did just go into the built-in route planning, and I put Topeka, Kansas as my destination. There's an Electrify America charger there that will get me to Kansas City next, and right now it is showing that I should stop and charge in about 60 miles, go from 65 to 77%, so adding 12% state of charge. I am not going to do that. I'm going to skip that one and go to the next one, which is in I-70 Denver. I guess that's the name of the station. It's an Electrify America station, but it says it's going to take 38 minutes to go from 20 to 80%. That doesn't sound right. A bunch of these 10 to 80% charging sessions are saying 30 plus minutes. That must be because the battery is cold, though. Once it starts battery conditioning, we should be pretty much good to go. Because actually, no, that doesn't make sense. Well, yeah, that does make sense. The first stop that it wants me to do is the Evergreen 56th and Tower in Denver. So yeah, we're just going to skip that one. That station's 170 miles. I think we should be able to make it. So we're going to push for there. I'm not sure if we have any bailouts if we're not going to make that one. So let me just look at PlugShare real quick. There's got to be Tesla superchargers that I can use. Wow, it looks like there's absolutely nothing. I don't know, so maybe I should play it safe and do what it's telling me to. And then we'll have a nice warm battery for the next charging stop. So yeah, you know what, in 60 miles, I probably will have to pee because I am drinking my morning coffee. So I guess let's just follow the built-in route planning for now, and we'll do that. Weather is not ideal. I mean, you can see it's clear out, but it is 16 degrees Fahrenheit right now. So I'm going to probably stick to the speed limit just so that I have decent efficiency. I am going to charge as often as I need to. I'm not going to be trying to push this just because I'm in unfamiliar territory. So I'm probably going to rely on the built-in navigation pretty much most of the time. But I do know now that battery conditioning will function down to about 5% state of charge. So that means that I can roll into stations below 10% and still have a nice warm battery. So I might be utilizing the manual battery conditioning button if I do want to start using Google Maps instead of the built-in route planning. This isn't any big test for the route planning. This is just road trip video. I'm going to play with different things, see how the car performs, check out some cool chargers, some cool food, and just hopefully have a good time. I am really excited about this trip. Longest road trip I have ever done by myself, so it's going to be a bit of a learning experience, what it's like to be by yourself in the car for 3 days, but it's going to be fun either way. But I'm going to check in with you guys a lot along the drive. We're going to start talking about things that I've noticed about the new 2025 Ioniq 5 here, now that I'm going to get to spend 3 days straight in it. So far, so good. Really liking the interior. Love having the buttons here. I've noticed it's definitely quieter in here. No more rear motor whine, which I've noticed with my 2022 SEL all-wheel drive. So yeah, things are looking good. The screens look nice. CCNC looks good. Time is ticking though, so let's head out on the road. So first little update after getting on the highway. Last night I hooked up my Comma 3X and they told me that it's possible that if I plug it in, it'll work. I can confirm it's the same connector as the previous Ioniq 5, but for some reason it's not activating. At my first charging stop, I might fiddle with some of the settings and do a reboot on the Comma, but for now I'm using Highway Drive Assist 2 and it's rock steady. They've definitely improved it. The lane centering is really good, but so far, 10 miles, averaging 2.1 miles per kilowatt hour. We're going to be getting to our first charging stop in about, I think, 30 minutes or so. Battery conditioning did activate on its own, so that is good. It's going to be a pretty quick charge, maybe 10 minutes. We're not adding a whole lot. It's just to get us to the next one. The HUD looks so nice. Clean, crisp, bright, nice colors. I dig it. The automatic lane changes also work a lot better than on the previous version of the Ioniq 5. You just have to give it a small nudge, unlike before where you really had to like time it perfectly and shove it. I think this works a lot better. Something really weird is going on with the navigation system though. I picked Topeka, Kansas, an EA station, and it keeps trying to route me off the highway. I must have some setting screwed up in the navigation setting, so I'm gonna play with that right now while I have some time. So it was set to recommended. I just changed it to fastest, telling it not to avoid anything. I want it to use whatever route works best. Let's go back to the map. All right, so now it's planning the charging stops again, and it's showing me the route that I want. Battery conditioning reactivated again. So let's see if it holds this route again, or if it's gonna do some weird thing where it tells me to get off the highway early. Temperatures are going up. We're up to 22 degrees outside, so that's good. From what Jordan and Bob tell me, this is kind of unseasonably cold weather here, which is just my luck. So would have been really nice to have some nice warmer temps to get better efficiency, but we're just gonna have to deal with it. That means more charging stops, more testing. So we're only averaging 2.2 miles per kilowatt hour. The thing that is going to be tough here for me is I'm so used to basing everything off of the previous cars with the 77 kilowatt hour battery, where this one is now 84 kilowatt hours. So I've got an extra 7 kilowatt hours to play with, which is about another 20 miles. So I'm pretty sure I could make that charging stop just east of Denver area on Electrify America, but I don't know. I hate to stop so soon. It's telling me I'm going to arrive at this charging stop with 64% state of charge. That doesn't sound right though. Colorado is gorgeous. I've never been in this area before. The mountains off to the east going down I-25 right now are just absolutely stunning. Snow-capped mountains. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I will stop. Man, tough call. No, I'm going to follow the nav for at least the first 2 charging stops and do what it says. So I do have wireless Apple CarPlay running right now, and I do have my phone on the wireless charging mat. And it does seem to be keeping up with keeping my phone fully charged. It's sitting at 97% right now. You know, I'm so used to not having the head-up display that now I have to get used to having it right in front of my face again. So it just did the same thing again. What is this thing doing? There may not be a charging station available on your route. Charging en route is recommended. Yeah, I know that. Stop trying to take me off of that route. This is really annoying, especially while you're trying to drive. I'm like at a loss. I don't know what other settings I can possibly change here. So when I go to look at more routes again, it shows me what I'm trying to do. This is extremely annoying. I'm going to just go into Google Maps at this point, recent searches. Actually, I'll go to the Electrify America app and find that station. Let's see, 120 miles, navigate there. It says 2 hours. The car is currently showing 221 miles of estimated range. So you know what? I think I'm gonna push it. I'm just gonna manually condition the battery myself as we get about an hour and 10 minutes out from the station. And we will monitor the temps. So yeah, I'm just gonna do that because I'm not gonna fight this navigation system now, especially going through unfamiliar territory. So I've got Apple Maps running, I've got my directions in the head-up display because Apple Maps now ties into the head-up display, which is cool. So that is really quite useful. I do like that. I wonder what my battery looks like right now. Open up car scanner. Look at our temps. Battery min 35, battery max 43, so at least I have a way to monitor that. From what I understand too, leaving Denver and going into Kansas, it will be going downhill, so my efficiency might not actually be as bad as I think it will. So that should help get us to this station. So I'm really not going to worry about it too much. Plus we've got an extra almost 20 miles of range. So I think things are going to be good. I think we're going to get to that first EA station, no problem. So I will check back in with you guys in a little while. So we just got off of 470 and we're about to get on I-70, which we're going to be taking for a very, 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 very long time. So far, my efficiency has been better than expected. 2.5 miles per kilowatt hour. We did 63.6 miles, showing 105 miles to that first Electrify America station, and that is the I-70 diner. Range estimate right now, 168 miles, so we got plenty to spare, even with battery conditioning. I'm not too worried about it. That is an hour and 43 minutes away. I am not sure I'm going to be able to hold my bladder that long, so I'm probably going to be pulling off at some point in the next, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes to use a restroom somewhere and maybe get a bite to eat or something. But yeah, so far, so good. I'm pretty impressed, other than the issues I had with the navigation system when I was coming towards Denver. Now I've just put in that Electrify America station as my endpoint. So I'm just going to have it start battery conditioning on its own, and then I'll just hop to the next charger from there. I think that's probably the best way to do it right now until I can figure out why the navigation system is being so bizarre. So yeah, we're hopping on I-70 here, and then it's going to be a lot of flat, just boring drive from what everybody I talked to at the meetup yesterday had to say. So either way, I will check back in soon, let you know what my efficiency looks like here on I-70. So stay tuned. So something I just noticed, there is no grab handle for the driver anymore. I'm really sad about that because a lot of the time when I'm driving, I like to put my hand up here and I'll just grab the handle. But yeah, that is completely gone. That is a real loss for me. My efficiency is looking quite good right now. I forget where I am. I think I'm in eastern Colorado. This exit here is for Peoria. So I've kicked it up from like 75 up to 80 now because I want to use as much energy as I have in the battery right now and get there as quick as possible. So I'm going to do 80 the rest of the way to that first charging stop at the I-70 Diner Electrify America station. Battery conditioning actually just kicked on. We are currently 1 hour and 5 minutes away. So I will monitor battery temps and car scanner, and that is good to see because right now if I go into car scanner, as it stands, battery min is 37.4. So it should take about 40 to 45 minutes to get there. So it's being a little on the conservative side, giving it a little bit more time to start conditioning the battery. I'm fine with that. It's going to retain most of that heat for those last 15 minutes if it does finish early. So that is a pretty good sign. Coolant is coming up in temperature. So we should be arriving at that station in 1 hour and 4 minutes, and we'll touch base as we get closer. All right, I see the EA stations right there, so that is pretty convenient, right off the highway. And then there's the I-70 diner. So that's pretty neat. Looks like they have solar canopies here. Unfortunately, it looks like the diner's closed, so that's a little bit of a bummer. So we did pull in 168.4 miles, 3 hours, 2.4 miles per kilowatt hour. Not too shabby. So let's go ahead, plug in, and see what happens. I'm sorry? Yeah, Boston. I just picked up this new Ioniq 5 in Denver. Yeah. So I'm going to test it out on a 2,000 mile trip. There you go, man. It's my first charging stop today.
Taking this thing out for the first time in Florida in a week, so.
Oh, nice. Are you local?
Yeah, I'm in Denver.
Oh, nice. That's a good road trip car you got there. So maybe the adapter has to be in first. Initiating charging. See what happens here. We are charging. Nice. It's looking like it's ramping up. So we are 150 just about. We should see just about 250, I would hope. And that started at about 1027. 202. Already up to 16%. So this is looking pretty good so far. I'm pretty happy. Battery temps are right where they should be. Hopefully this ramps up to 250 pretty soon here. It says 20 minutes remaining to 80%. So it's going to be about 21 minutes, give or take. Still, after a couple minutes, hanging out at 208 kilowatts. I'm not sure why it's not going up to 250-ish. Well, I'm going to check a few things here, and I will report back in a few minutes. I'm going to see where I'm going to stop and charge next. So be right back. Of course, right when I turn the camera off, it shoots up to 250. We're saying at 246. So now it says 16 minutes to 80%. So in total, that'll be still about 21 minutes. But we will watch the car scanner values here and see what these look like. So looking at my next charging stop, it would be really close going straight to the Rivian Adventure Network in Hayes. There's also an EA station right next to it. Well, that's going to be 215 miles. And I think I'm only going to have probably about 200 miles of range. The temperature is warming up a little bit, so it might not be too bad, but there's also an EA station in the Oakley area, so I might stop in there, charge for maybe 5 minutes tops, just enough to give me some buffer to get to Hayes. Again, not looking to die on the side of the road today. I'm fine with doing as many stops as I need to. We're about 7 minutes into this charging session, and the charging rate did drop down to 202 at about 40-something% state of charge. So it's definitely not holding that 250 very deep. This might not be an ideal representation of this car's full charging curve, but we're going to have probably another 17 stops on the way back home to analyze. So we will look at it more over the next 2 days. But this isn't a bad little stop. There's a diner here, but it doesn't appear to be open. There's a gas station across the street, some old-looking motel. I did notice there is already a scratch on top of this steering wheel. I'm not too thrilled about that, but it is a lease, so who cares? Charging is throttled pretty significantly down to 127 kilowatts at 65% state of charge. That seems a little quick to be going down that low. If we open up CarPlay here and look at our car scanner. Okay, thank you. Battery max 122. I think we're hitting some thermal limitations here. You can see the coolant is at about 70, so it's trying to bring that down. But yeah, that's probably what's happening here is we're hitting a thermal limit. I think I'm going to unplug here now because we've derated so much, and we're going to stop in Colby anyway, which is only 110 miles. And currently my range shows 168, so I think we're probably good to go, and the battery should still be warm by the time we get there. It's only an hour and a half away, so I'm going to unplug here and we're going to hit the road. So I'm pretty psyched because my free EA charging plan did work. You can see here in the app, if I just tilt down, here's the email, $0. So that is pretty sweet. So I'm going to save a ton of money driving back to Boston using the free EA charging plan. All right, so here's the plan. We're going to do 110 miles to the Colby EA station, and we're going to do just enough to get us onto the Rivian Adventure Network station, which is, I'm not 100% sure, but probably another 100 or so miles beyond that. So I'm going to hit the road here, and we will check in on the way to Colby. So right now, the route planning wants me to stop and charge for 1 minute so that I can arrive in Colby with 20% state of charge. How does that make any sense to the system? Like, it can't compromise and allow me to show up at Electrify America with 19% state of charge? That is just so stupid. So you can see we're 11.5 miles out from that charger, and I have 134 miles of range. And I know that it's about 80 miles to that, yeah, right there, 79.6 miles to that Electrify America station. So a 50-mile buffer, and it wants me to stop and charge for 1 minute. I'm sorry, but that is absolutely ridiculous. I'm not gonna do it. Let's go ahead and push the reroute button just to see, because now it's saying 50 to 52%. So let's reroute, see what it does. The driver monitoring system in this car is absolutely ridiculous. I can't stand it already. So you can see now it's telling us to go straight to that Electrify America station, so that is what we're gonna do. But why isn't it rerouting on its own? Why wouldn't it change that before making me stop? That just seems like poor programming to me. So we are closing in on our next charging stop in Colby, I think it's called. We've done 85.7 miles, an hour and 5 minutes, 2.6 miles per kilowatt hour. The outside air temperature is not too bad, 42 F, so our efficiency is a little bit better on this stretch. The battery min is now at 57.2. We're about 20 minutes out from the charger, and battery conditioning is not kicked on yet. So I'm going to monitor this and see if it is going to turn on maybe 15 minutes before we get to the charger, 10 minutes. I'm interested because I think it probably should be starting relatively soon. I would say 20 minutes is probably what it's going to take, but we'll see. So the built-in route planner is saying we're going to arrive with 19% and charge to 80% for 23 minutes. Now, for some reason, it deleted all the other charging stops that it had told me prior to leaving the previous charging station. So I don't know why it did that. I'm going to see what it does after this charging stop, because it does have my final destination as Jack Stack Barbecue in Kansas City. So I want to see it add some more charging stops. The next one will also be that Rivian Adventure charger. It's at the same location as an Electrify America charger, so I'm just going to let it navigate to that and battery condition for that EA station, even though we're going to try the Rivian station just because I want to, even though I could technically charge for free at the Electrify America station. We're officially in Kansas now. Pretty boring drive, I will say. There is really nothing out here. And my time zone just changed to Central Time from Mountain Time, so that is good. Oh my God, now it's 1 o'clock, so I'm gonna have to eat some lunch here at this next charging station. I'm getting kind of hungry. I do have to use the restroom again, so we'll do that. I think it's a Walmart, but if there's a McDonald's or a Burger King or a Wendy's or something, or a Chipotle, I'll grab some lunch at one of those places. I don't want to eat Walmart food. Probably pick up some bottled water at Walmart though, and maybe some cans of espresso drink as we get later into the day. But yeah, so far pretty good. So we are now 18 minutes from the charger. Battery conditioning still has not kicked on. So I might turn it, if it's not on in the next 2 minutes, I'm gonna turn it on myself, because I'm worried that it's not gonna come up to temp and we're gonna get slow charging speed. So I'm gonna watch that right now and I'll check back with you. Okay, so we are currently 7 miles away from the charger and battery conditioning did not kick on. So you can see the battery is on the cool side, 57 on the min. So I activated it manually, and the only reason I can think of that it didn't kick on is that goof that happened with the navigation system that deleted all my next charging stops, for whatever reason, did something to cause this to not kick on the battery conditioning system. So I'm not going to take that chance of showing up with a cold battery, so I activated it myself. So we will get there in a few minutes, and it's telling us to charge up to 80%, so we will do that and see how it goes. All right, so that stretch was 108.1 miles, 1 hour and 23 minutes, 2.6 miles per kilowatt hour. That's really not too shabby. So there's nobody else at this station, so I'm going to plug in and then run into Walmart. And just like I suspected, our battery temps are cold, so we're not going to pull full power, so we'll see what its estimated charging time is. So just plugged in with the adapter. Initiating charging. Reconnecting to vehicle.
Charging unsuccessful.
What? Charging unsuccessful. That's great. And it still thinks I'm trying to initiate charging, so that is great. Word. Initiating. I think it's going. There we go. So that was annoying. There's 120, estimating 22 minutes to 80%. Battery temp 64 on the min, so it's a little cold, so we're not going to get full power just now. But so to get to the Rivian Adventure Station, we only need a little over 100 miles. So I'm going to rush in, pee, and grab a few things, and then I'm going to grab some lunch, I think at Jimmy John's. There's one in the area, and I really like their sandwiches, so I'm going to do that. I will be right back. So I ended up overcharging a little bit. We've got 163 miles of range, so yeah, we're going to get there probably with like 25% state of charge, but oh well, we'll still get to test it. But I'm going to go to Jimmy John's right now and grab a sub. I'm back with my Jimmy John's. I love Jimmy John's. I first experienced it in Chicago back when I was working full-time. I was doing a lot of product testing at Underwriters Laboratories in Northbrook, Illinois. And for lunch, we would almost get Jimmy John's every single day. Love their bread. And I also love Hellman's mayonnaise. So they put a ton of it on. This is a Beach Club, my favorite. So I'm pretty disappointed in the built-in navigation system right now. It's really letting me down. So like right now, for some reason, I'm right next to I-70. And it's telling me to take back roads basically to Kansas City, even though I don't have anything in the settings that says take that. Unless it's this, fastest versus recommended. It doesn't make any sense. So now all of a sudden it's working, and it's telling me again to go charge at the station I just left for another 4 minutes so that I can arrive at the next Electrify America station with 20%. I'm going to leave this in the system, but the logic just doesn't make sense. It's about another 6.5 hours before we get to Kansas City. And we've been on the road since, I think, 7:45 this morning, which would be 8:45 Central Time. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1. We've been on the road for almost 5 hours, so we're almost halfway to Kansas City. I was hoping to get to Missouri tonight, just east of St. Louis, but man, I'm starting to feel kind of tired, so I don't know what I'm going to do. I might end up finding some place between Kansas City and Missouri to stop for the night. I kind of forgot that with all this kind of meandering and not really doing everything as efficiently as possible, that really does add some time. So, I mean, I've probably already wasted an hour just stopping at places like Jimmy John's and getting that breakfast sandwich. Not a bad way to road trip. That's definitely for sure. It is kind of crazy, though, to think that we're only like a seventh of the way back to Boston. Such a good sub. I really hate the fact that there are no Jimmy John's anywhere in New England. There was one in Boston, but they went out of business a few years ago. And go check out that Rivian Adventure Network. Pretty excited to see that. Little update for you guys. We're about 15 minutes out from Hays, Kansas. Battery conditioning enabled. We're going to be at 70 degrees Fahrenheit in about probably 5 minutes or so. 19% state of charge remaining, and the current map estimate is we will arrive with 7% state of charge. Love to see that. I did just check my phone that's been on the wireless charging pad pretty much all day, and it has overheated now, so it's no longer charging. I don't see any place where they would have put a fan in to provide active cooling for the charging pad, so it seems like it may be a little bit faster than the previous one in the older car, but yeah, it still has overheating issues, but that's pretty common with Qi wireless charging, especially if it's sitting on the pad all day. Right now, the temperature is dropping. You can probably see there's a little bit of snow around. Yeah, I think this area got a lot of snow the other day, but I think it's already mostly melted. So yeah, we're gonna be rolling in here, checking out the Rivian Adventure Network. Hopefully we will pull full charging power, or close to it, at least 250 kilowatts. I'm pretty sure they're 1,000-volt chargers. If they're not, then we are not going to come close to charging at full power, but we're about to find out. I am very full from that Jimmy John's sandwich. Really hope my digestion kicks in here pretty soon so I can eat some delicious Kansas City style barbecue around dinner time. I think I'll be getting to Kansas City around like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. It's currently 2:51 p.m. So yeah, we got a little bit of ways to go before we get to KC, but pretty excited about it. So we'll check in when we get to the charger. All right, guys, we are rolling in to Hays and the Rivian Adventure Network. This is like the most major city I've seen in a while. And they got even little roundabouts. But yeah, just about to get there. There's the Walmart, because they have Electrify America stations as well. So we'll see how smoothly this goes. I got the Rivian app and my credit card and everything loaded up on my phone. So hopefully things go pretty smoothly. Looks like this might be a restaurant here. Yeah, Old Chicago Pizza and Tap Room. Man, I could really go for a beer right now. That'd be really nice. But yeah, let's test this out. So we'll use 3B here. So that last section, 105.1 miles, 1 hour, 35 minutes, 2.4 miles per kilowatt hour, and we've got 7% left, 11 miles. That's really what I want to do here. I like doing this, getting in with less than 10%. But let's plug in. So yeah, let's just take this out, put the adapter on, plug her in, open up the Rivian app. Hopefully red is good. What? Okay, so that was a total goof apparently. I thought that these Rivian stations were open to non-Rivians. I'm pretty sure that's what PlugShare said. Let me check PlugShare. Thank God there's an Electrify America station right here, because I'd be truly screwed. Oh, it says Rivian drivers only. Was I thinking of a different charging station? Yes, you were, Corbin. Yes, you were. The Rivian charging station that was actually open to other EVs was way back in Flagler, the first stop at I-70 Diner. So I totally goofed this one. I guess we'll have to save the Rivian Adventure Network for another road trip. Oh man, that is annoying. I'm probably gonna have to precondition the battery again here. So let me do that. Well, it says normal. All right, so change of plans. We're going over to EA. That was really stupid of me. It says 2 of 4 chargers available, so it seems like there might be some people there, which is fine. But let's get over there while the battery's still warm. That makes me feel really dumb, but I knew there was one Rivian charger that was going to be available. All right, let's go ahead and back up here into this one. All right, let's give this one a go. There we go. All right, so again, another issue with getting Electrify America started. It seems like the move here is to plug in the adapter first and then plug in the EA connector and then activate through swiping in the app. Yeah, that's the second time that's happened. I did swap cables, so it's possible it was a cable issue, but I don't think it was. But yeah, so we need to figure out what our next charging stop is going to be. I think there's an EV Go station at a Pilot Flying J coming up pretty soon that I wanted to check out. Well, now that I'm past the Rivian network, I can't check that out, so we might as well check out one of the EV Go stations, and that's at our truck stop too. I'm gonna have to go pretty soon. Let's see how far that is. Okay, that's 95 miles from here. After that is Topeka, and Topeka is 197 miles, so we wouldn't be able to make it there unless we kind of took our speed down a little bit. Okay, so let's check out that EV Go station next. That one is in Salina, Kansas. So we'll check that out. It says 4 of 4 available, so it's probably not too busy. It did get really cloudy here in the last 20 minutes or so. I don't know if that's normal for this area. I mean, the temperatures dropped significantly. We were like in the mid to upper 40s a little over an hour ago. Now we're at 26 degrees Fahrenheit. Charging speed is pretty good right now, 204 kilowatts. What was I going to do now? Blah, 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 blah. I was going to look at the built-in route planner to find our next charging stop. So that is Salina. I will zoom out. It's still not showing EV Go for some reason. Let me filter just by EV Go and then go back and see what we see. No results found, so that's pretty annoying. I will just navigate using Google Maps to get there, and then I will manually condition the battery since that station isn't showing up in the system. We'll do it that way this time. So we'll get directions on Google Maps. Start in CarPlay. So yeah, that's 95 miles an hour and 20 minutes, 4:40 p.m. arrival time. This is pretty good. I don't know if we've seen over 250 kilowatts yet. 253 right now at 44% state of charge. So that is quite good. I've got our next charging stop in here, which is going to be in Salina. We're going to go to that EV Go Pilot Flying J station. Check that out. It's one of those ones that has the nice big overhangs, kind of like a gas station. But that's an hour and 20 minutes away, 95 miles. We should be there around 4:45 p.m. We still had a long ways to go to get through Kansas, so I'm not really sure what time we're supposed to get into Kansas City, but it's looking later and later at this point. All right, guys, we are back on the highway on I-70 heading east. Our next charging stop is going to be that Pilot Flying J station that I mentioned, and we should be there in about an hour and 15 minutes. But yeah, we've got plenty of buffer right now. We're at 61% state of charge, showing 134 miles of range, and we only need to go 93. So I think I'm going to turn up my speed a little bit on this stretch. Yeah, that charging session was good, quick, probably only about 10 minutes or so. We did see 250 kilowatts, which is awesome. I got there was an EV6 and a Mustang Mach-E, both charging, and I was the first one gone. The EV6 must have been charging to 100% or something for whatever reason. But yeah, I love that. I love being the last one in, first one out. So I gotta admit, having to use this adapter is pretty annoying. I am really not gonna lie. At first, I didn't think it was gonna be such a big deal, but when you're road tripping like this and having to do this all the time at every charger, and then you saw dealing with the plug-in issues, granted, those should be gone after you figure out how to use it properly, which I feel like I do now. I'm just gonna plug this in first from now on and then plug in the cable. But it is just another thing to have to deal with. It's sitting here in my armrest, taking up space. Pretty high quality, pretty dense. Not seeing too much wrong with it. I don't know, it's just an added extra step. Some of you are gonna hate it, but as NACS cables start becoming more commonplace, it's not gonna be as much of an issue. I look forward to those days, but for now we are adapting both physically and metaphorically. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the CCS to NACS adapter. Battery temps right now are about 92 on the min, 117 on the max. And oddly enough, battery conditioning isn't running right now, which is fine by me because it's so cold out that it shouldn't really need any extra conditioning to get the battery cooled in the next hour. So I'm going to monitor those, see how quickly they drop. Maybe the system is taking into account outside ambient air temperatures. When it was warmer before, it definitely would have taken a lot longer to cool the battery. But here, being sub-freezing now, it's likely to be a lot quicker. So anyway, guys, we'll check in a little while. So, we're about 10 minutes away from the EV Go station. I did enable battery conditioning myself, and I did just figure out that at 10% state of charge, it will deactivate. This is contrary to what Bob was telling me, that he saw it running down to 5%. Now, maybe that happens if you're using the built-in route planning, but we are not right now. I am just doing it manually because I was having issues with the route planning before, not being able to locate this EV Go station. So the battery is a little cool. It's not too cool. It is in the low 60s right now, 62.6 on the coldest cell. But I don't think it's going to be too big of an issue. I think we're going to be going to probably 80% at this next charger, so we're going to be here for about 20 minutes or so anyway. So that's a new thing that I just learned about this system. As you can see, the sun did finally come back out. It wasn't too long after we left that last charger that kind of gray sky and fog and stuff kind of just disappeared. So now we are 4.6 miles from the EV Go station. We've got 11 miles estimated range remaining, 7% state of charge. So far, we've done 89.2 miles in an hour and 13 minutes, averaging 2.1 miles per kilowatt hour. The cold is really killing us on this section here. So it's only 26 degrees out right now. It seems pretty windy. I can feel the car kind of getting blown around a bit. So I think this is just like a worst case scenario right now where we're getting slammed with wind, getting slammed with cold. The air density is really high, so it's taking a lot of energy to push through that dense air. But either way, we're gonna make it to the station with a little bit of buffer, and I'm excited to check out this Pilot Flying J station. We need far more of these. They're really nice. The only time I've used one is in upstate New York on the I-90 surge when we were coming through Rochester, and it worked perfectly, so I'm expecting it to work perfectly today. The last time I checked, there was nobody at the station, so sounds like we might have our pick of the litter. But I will touch base when we get to the station in 3 minutes. Let's take, what am I doing? Take this one over here, get a nice shot of it with the sun in the back. There we go, a nice parking spot. So there you go, 93.5 miles, 1 hour, 18 minutes, 2.1 miles per kilowatt hour, and we've got 5% left. So the car just ticked over 500 miles on that section right there. I don't know if we'll hit 1,000 miles today, but we'll probably be close. Looks like this one's a little broken. Let's plug in. I'm going to try and set up auto charge here. So here we are. This is PFJ 296. I guess this is B. Connecting to your vehicle. Man, it is cold out. Checking cable safety. All right, matching voltage, that is a good sign. Charging started. Very good. So I'm guessing because we do have a little bit of a cold battery here, that's probably why we're seeing that 25 minutes to 80%. That's a bummer, but you know what? I could use some time here to look over emails and messages from all you guys and just generally take a break. Been driving for about 10 hours now. So yeah, it's starting to feel like a long day. So speaking of that, let's see how long it is to Kansas City from here. I feel like we got to be getting close. Kansas City, Kansas. Is 2.5 hours from here. So 5 o'clock, get to dinner about 7:30. That's fine with me because I ate a late lunch today. I was hoping to get to St. Louis, but I don't think I'm going to do that. Maybe Columbia, Missouri might be a good place to stop. Looks like it might be a relatively large place to settle down for the night and find a hotel. There is an Electrify America station in Kansas City. That's probably the one I will hit up. How many miles is that? 170 miles? Ooh, that's a stretch. That is a stretch. Let's see what the car says if I put in the location I'm going to for dinner, what it thinks for charging. EV Connect. I'm not sure what that is. 24/7 travel store? I guess I'll have to look on PlugShare to figure out what that is. So I should be able to make it to this Topeka service area. That one's open to non-Tesla. I could potentially use that. That's at a Love's. Lawrence service area. Maybe I'll check this one out. Finally do a Tesla test tonight. But yeah, options are very limited. There's one of those EV Connects in Abilene. How far is Abilene? Abilene is 20 miles. Yeah, I'm not going just 20 miles. Okay, there is a Walmart that's 100 miles away. There's that, or the next one is that Topeka Service Plaza. Oh, oh no, okay, it's for both sides of the highway. All right, maybe I'll check out that Tesla station then, because that one is 112 miles away. If I don't hit that, the next one is a Lawrence service area, which is also available to both sides of the highway. So maybe I'll do that one. Place I'm stopping for dinner is somewhere over here, I think. Somewhere over there. What do we have there? Country Club Plaza. Oh, that's Electrify America. How many miles is that? 162. I feel like I could make that. This EVgo station might be the best one to go to, though. Screw it. We'll check out this Tesla supercharger station since I haven't used one yet today. Show you guys how that works. Be a little bit longer of a charge, but whatever. Well, while I was looking at that, we shot up to 250 kilowatts, 15 minutes to 80%. And since the next stop's going to be a Tesla that's going to be on the slower side, we'll go to full 80% here. This way we don't have to charge so much at the next station, and I can keep my speeds up. I did slow down a little bit on this previous stretch because I was starting to get worried there. I'm going to go use the bathroom, come back. I got some trash to get rid of. And maybe I'll start looking for a hotel. Well, maybe I'll do that over dinner. I hope you guys like seeing the inner workings of my mind. So according to EVgo, I now have auto charge for this car. So when I go to another EVgo station, all I got to do is plug in. It will recognize the car, and I don't even have to open up the app. Really like that. I really wish Electrify America had that feature. All right, so I just finished charging. Here's the plan. We've got 188 miles of range. It's about 130 miles to the Lawrence service station with 12 Tesla superchargers. That's our stretch goal right now. After that, it's really cutting it close, getting towards Kansas City, so I don't want to push it. Temperatures are dropping. The sun is going down. The low in Kansas City tonight's going to be like 4 degrees Fahrenheit, so not a good situation. At dinner, I'm going to try and find a hotel that has chargers so I can plug in for the night. If I can't, I'm going to charge up tonight while the battery is still relatively warm. But we should be able to make it to Lawrence. Now, why is battery conditioning going? I don't want that on. You're going to cool off on your own. So if it looks like we're not going to make it to Lawrence, there's another Tesla supercharger a couple dozen miles out. So we'll go ahead and do that. But I'm going to just navigate using Google Maps here. It's 145 miles. It's going to be close because my efficiency has not been great so far this evening. If I go in and look at my stats right now, it says the battery has 69 kilowatt hours. So we're doing 145 miles, 145 divided by 69. That means we need to average 2.1 miles per kilowatt hour to get to that Lawrence station. So kind of have my doubts about that since the temperature is dropping. We'll put this one as our starting station, and if things look really good, we'll try and go past that to the next one. We'll do manual battery conditioning here, but yeah, let's hit the road because that's an hour and 42 minutes away, and then it's probably another half hour or so to get some Q. So I am going to be ready to eat relatively soon. So let's hit the road. Unfortunately, the sun is just about to go down, so it's going to be getting dark in here for the next few hours. Hopefully it's not too difficult to see me, but yeah, not much I can do about that. Can't control the sun just yet. All right, guys, I know it's a little dark in here, but I'm going to talk you through what we're doing. We're about to exit at the Topeka Service Plaza, which has some Tesla superchargers that we are going to attempt to use. Hopefully there's a spot for me because I need 2 spots because of my charge port placement. But we're rolling in pretty low state of charge, so if it doesn't work, I'm going to have to look at some other options, but I'm not sure there are very many in the area. Yeah, so we got 12 miles of estimated range left. It's 18 degrees out right now, so really freaking cold. But let's see what the situation here looks like. I'm hopeful. I see the superchargers. Oh, wow. It's like wide open. Oh, there's also something else too. What do you guys think? Should I use the superchargers or I'm not using those charge point things? Screw that. I'm going to use this last spot here. This is perfect, actually. C. All right, we got 2C. So let's open up the Tesla app. Find a charger. Here we are. And we are on 2C. Start charging, por favor. Initializing charging. That is a good sign. And we are charging, just like that. Super easy at these Tesla superchargers. I will say the connection time is really quite quick. I'm pretty impressed, actually. And you saw, I only had to be outside there for a freaking split second to actually just plug the cord in. I came back in here, and yeah, everything is good. So yeah. So that last stint, 116.6 miles, 1 hour, 36 minutes, and 1.9 miles per kilowatt hour. So not great, but considering the cold, I can live with it. Now I need to figure out what I'm going to do next, because I have a few options. It's already 7 o'clock. I'm starting to get hungry. Kansas City is the next major place to go outside of Topeka right now. So I'm thinking that maybe I'll charge up here enough to get to Kansas City, go get dinner, charge again if I have to, and then grab a hotel, maybe just east of the city. This way tomorrow morning I can get out a lot easier. My goal was to make it to St. Louis tonight, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm going to be exhausted by then. I was thinking maybe Columbia, but even that seems like a stretch now. Let's see how long it would take to get to Columbia from here. That's 2 hours and 40 minutes, plus figure an hour for dinner if I go to a sit-down spot. So 3 hours, 40 minutes. That's already almost 11 o'clock at night. Yeah, I think I'm going to crash in Kansas City tonight, or just east. I think that's my best bet. This way I can have a fairly early night and get a really early start tomorrow morning. But today went a little slower than I was hoping. I figured by now I'd already be eating dinner in Kansas City, but suffice it to say that did not come to fruition. Let me see how close that barbecue place is. Jack Stack. That's 50 miles from here. 49 minutes. That's not bad. Oh man, what to do? I guess I should start looking for hotels. All right, so we're gonna go to Char Bar Westport and check that place out. It's open till 11, so I don't have to rush out of there. By the time I get out of there, hopefully the Electrify America station that's right there isn't too busy anymore, because right now it's like 5 out of 8 stations are occupied. But yeah, then I'll take a look for a hotel. If I find a hotel with charging, I'm not even gonna bother going to the Electrify America station. And then we'll call it a night. All right, so it's only 55 miles. We've got 93 miles of range. 95, I'm going to go ahead and unplug, because I think it's going to be lower speed going into the city too, probably. So I think we should be pretty good. You know what? Just let it go to 100 miles. What the heck? So I wonder what the forecast is like tomorrow. Oh, man. It's going to be 2 degrees tomorrow morning. My efficiency getting out of Kansas City is going to be abysmal. That is a real bummer. All right, so there's 100 miles. I'm going to unplug. We are done here. I think I can stop it in the Tesla app. Stop charging. All right, we are going to barbecue. I am excited. I will see you guys later. So I just actually had dinner at Jack Stack's. I changed my mind last minute. I figured I could squeeze in here. I got out with 10 minutes before they closed. Had some burnt ends, had some brisket, their cheesy corn. It was all really delicious. But now I need to go crash for the night. So I found a hotel in Independence that supposedly has level 2 chargers. They have Tesla and J1772, and I have my adapter so I can use whatever's available. But the problem is it looks like they're only 6 kilowatts. So in order to get a full charge overnight, I'm going to have to go to Electrify America for a few minutes and get the battery up from 26% to probably, I don't know, 55, 60%. Otherwise, I'm going to wake up tomorrow and I'm not going to have a full battery. So I really want to start the day with 100% tomorrow, because it's going to be really cold. I want to start with a nice long, well, relatively long for a cold day kind of drive in the morning. So I'm going to do that. It's about 20 minutes to Independence from here. So I will see you guys at the station. So we're getting into the Electrify America station here. One of the stations appears to be broken. Looks like we got a Hummer EV here. And it looks like the other ones are all open. So I'm going to take the one on the end. So Let's go ahead and plug in and add a little juice here. What's the battery temp at? So we've got 60 min, 70 max, so it's gonna be on the slower side, but we'll get it going. We've got the adapter here, so let's go ahead and plug in. So this charging stop was a total failure. The station just gives an error, won't connect to vehicle. I am exhausted, I give up. I just keep getting stuck. I don't know if it's the adapter, I don't know if it's the station. I'm going to the hotel, I'm calling it a day because I am just done with this. Just really annoying to have to deal with this at 9:30 at night after driving for 13 hours, just a station that just refuses to work. But whatever. Now I gotta find my hotel and plug in there, hopefully no issues, but I will see you guys at the hotel. Again, 5.9 kilowatts. Good morning, guys. You joined me from my hotel room. It's 7:30 in the morning here in Kansas City. Got a pretty good night's sleep. Just drinking some canned espresso right now to get me going. So I was a little sad to see when I checked my Hyundai this morning that the car didn't even make it to 80% last night because of this Peasley 5.9 kilowatt charger they have on site here. I tried both of the Tesla destination chargers last night with the Ioniq 5, but it doesn't seem like the destination chargers are working with the 2025 with NACS port. As far as I'm aware, you should just be able to plug it in and it should just start. You don't have to do anything in the app, but couldn't get it to work. And those probably would have given me a lot more power than the J1772 chargers. So that was a bit of a bummer. I was really hoping to leave with 100%, and then that piece of crap Electrify America station that just wouldn't connect for me or the other two people that were there. Yeah, it just didn't work out the way I wanted it to. So this morning I've been trying to figure out what my game plan is today, because right now it is currently 7 degrees in Independence. That's the city I'm in, right to the east of Kansas City. So efficiency is going to be awful. It's going to be horrible today. And it gets even colder going into Illinois and Ohio. So just worst case scenario for a road trip. Looking at my Hyundai app right now, I will show you guys what I see. So because I don't have the built-in route planning with me in the hotel room, I've kind of been staking things out in PlugShare. And I think I have a plan for what I'm gonna do today. So I used PlugShare's route planning feature, which allows you to just hop along your route. So let me see, okay, there it is. So the first stop today, I'm thinking, is a Pilot Travel Center in Boonville. That's one of the GM EVgo stations, so should be working pretty well with plug-in charge. So the next after that will be Dorset Square in St. Louis. The Electrify America station in St. Louis has a horrible PlugShare score, so I'm going to avoid it because it sounds like it's just a terrible station. So we'll be hitting up this spot, which is another EVgo station. It does have one NACS connector, but it's only 50 kilowatts, so not doing that. And then after that is going to be the Firefly Grill in Effingham, Illinois. That looks like a pretty small Electrify America station with 4 chargers. And then after that, the EA station in Terre Haute. Now, it didn't allow me to finish planning out my route after that because it's another 245 miles to Columbus, Ohio. But the plan is to check out the Ioniq rechargery at the, is it this one? In Springfield, Ohio? Yeah, it's this one. So this is going to be leading into my stop for the night of Columbus. So that station is 603 miles away. But I think Terre Haute's over here somewhere. No, Terre Haute's in Indiana. So before I get into Columbus tonight, that's probably going to be my last charging stop there at that Ioniq station, which I'm looking forward to because they have a native NACS port and tap to pay, so it should be pretty smooth. But yeah, I think that's the plan right now. I'm not going to really rely on the built-in route planning this morning just because it's so cold. I think it's going to just do a really bad job at estimating. So yeah, this morning I think I'm just going to do things myself, do them manually. I'm going to stop often because if I want to keep my speed up, I'm going to have to stop and charge quite a bit. That's just the nature of driving over 70 miles per hour when it's 5 to 10 degrees out. My efficiency, I will be surprised if it's 1.9 miles per kilowatt hour this morning. And when you factor in the size of this car's battery, that's a theoretical range of about, I don't know, 150 miles. So I really got to just pay attention and make sure I'm careful because I'm starting to get into an area where there's not a ton of reliable charging options, it seems, just based on plug share. It might just be overutilized equipment, but yeah, it kind of worries me a little bit. So I'm sticking to stations that aren't Electrify America for the most part, I think. I will rely on Tesla if I need to. I only stopped once at a Tesla supercharger yesterday, so I'm going to limit those to kind of just being for emergency situations to fill in gaps along the route that I might not otherwise be able to make. So I'm going to go ahead, finish my coffee, head out to the car, and we'll touch base when we get there. All right, so just for ha-has, let's go ahead and put in Columbus and see what it says. Columbus, Ohio, 608 miles away. Route. Let's start guidance and see what those charging stops are. So it says 13 hours, which is about right, I would say. So it's picking that EVgo station that I wanted to stop at. That's 86 miles away. And then the next EVgo. Wow, it's saying 49 minutes to go from 9 to 54%. That's wild. Oh, a Circle K. I didn't even see that on the map, but that's an interesting location to possibly stop at. Firefly, yeah, it's the one I was going to stop at anyway. Maybe we will just follow the built-in route planning this morning and see what happens. Because this actually looks pretty good. Nah, you know what? I'm going to use the Apple Maps and I'm going to battery condition myself because I know that it's going to take probably an hour and 25 minutes to get up to ideal temperature. Actually, I should start battery conditioning right now while we're just sitting here. But it won't let me. Oh, because the car's not powered on. Gonna start that right now. So I'm gonna watch the temps, and if I see it coming up to temperature too quickly, I'll cut it soon so that it's not wasting energy. This is gonna just evaporate before we get to the charging station. So yeah, I'll keep an eye on that, but I think I'm gonna use Apple Maps to get to that first Pilot Flying J location. I just like looking at those when I'm kind of in unfamiliar territory. Actually, change of plan. Let's try the built-in nav and let's have it do its thing. I'll give it another shot because yesterday kind of left me. Because yesterday kind of left me with a bad taste in my mouth about what it was trying to do. So we'll see if this works out well. But it's only an hour and 16 minutes to the first charging station. So we'll hit the road. It says 35 minutes to go from 18 to 80%. That seems a little long. But if the battery is cold, it really potentially could. But anyway, let's hit the road, get out of Independence, Missouri, and on our way home. So merging onto I-70, I think the weather app was a little off compared to what outside air temperature is right here. It's showing 15 degrees, which is definitely better than 5 degrees. So I will take whatever I can get today. The speed limit's 65. I think I'm going to hang out at maybe 70. I'm not going to push it up to 75 or 80. Now that we're in like much more densely populated area, it's not really too big of an issue to drive a little bit slower. But yeah, it's exactly 84 miles to Boonville, where that EVgo Pilot Flying J station is. I really like those stations. I'm fine with having to pay on this road trip for these charging stops if it means I have a good experience. And I will say that yesterday, I'm pretty sure that EVgo station outside of the stop at Tesla was the easiest transaction to get going. I had some snags with the Electrify America stations, but that EVgo station worked the very first time. No problems at all. So going into the future, the more Pilot Flying J EVgo stations they open, the more likely I'm going to use them, because that, coupled with auto charge now that we're going to test out at this station, because I did activate that when I stopped yesterday, it's just going to be a good experience, hopefully. So let's check out what my efficiency looks like this morning. Right now it's showing 1.2 miles per kilowatt hour after 3.1 miles. That will start to level out. Ooh, maybe I'll do Jimmy John's again for lunch today. I love Jimmy John's. Let me open up the roof and get some more light in here. It's also going to let in the cold. I just immediately felt a blast of cold air coming down from that cold sheet of glass. This is definitely starting to look a lot more like the Midwest that I know from driving through, like, I don't know, Wisconsin, Illinois, Ohio, Indiana. I would say of everything I'm going to do today, I'm excited to get into Ohio, because Ohio is really a leader in terms of adding DC fast chargers to their highway corridors. And I think that's so great to see. So many states aren't doing that. So the fact that Ohio is taking charge and putting them at their travel centers is just so nice to see, because on a road trip, you just want to get right off the highway, stop and pee, maybe grab a bite real quick, and then be on your way. And those travel centers are really the best place to do that. So this rush hour traffic might actually play to our benefit in terms of driving slower versus faster and getting pretty poor efficiency. Efficiency's up to 1.6 miles per kilowatt hour now. I'm not going to be stopping for breakfast. I don't typically eat breakfast. I usually just have coffee in the morning, and that gets me through until I usually eat an early lunch around like 11 o'clock. Yesterday I ate at 2 o'clock. But yeah, I have always been more of an early lunch person. But anyway, guys, I will check back to you when we get closer to Boonville, and we'll talk about our battery temperatures and how they're looking. I'm back, guys. We are 4 minutes from the Pilot Flying J station. Currently, battery conditioning is off. It did kick off a couple minutes ago. So it did take basically over an hour to get up to temperature. We're still sitting at 70 degrees on the min. But yeah, we're going to be there in 4 minutes. I did crank my speed up a little bit towards the end, because I might as well go faster if I'm going to stop and charge, and save some time that way. But yeah, hopefully this is a good session. But yeah, looks like it's right off the highway at a Pilot Travel Center. So should be a nice, easy stop. And then we're going to charge up to 80% when we get there. Really not much traffic. It doesn't seem like this is a super busy route. Okay, so there's the final tally, 85.4 miles, 1 hour, 14 minutes, 1.8 miles per kilowatt hour. We're closing in on 800 miles here. So let's go plug in. I'm gonna go ahead and put my beanie on because it is cold. Nobody else here, so I got pick of the litter, which is always nice. All right, let's go plug in. There we go. Charging. Ramping up. Very nice. I love these stations. These are awesome. We're at like 174 at 37%. It's saying 16 minutes to 80%. But let's take a look at the route planner. So you can see it checked off this charging stop because we just got to it. The next one it wants me to stop at is a charge point, which is only 62 kilowatts. I am not going to do that. I would take a supercharger over that anytime. So I really don't want to stop at that one. So let's go to PlugShare. I favorited all the stations I wanted to use today, or at least for the first few hundred miles. So we're at this one. We can delete that because we don't need that. The next one is going to be the Dorset Square. And that is another Pilot Flying J EVgo station, it looks like. Or maybe it's just an EVgo. Yeah, I think it's just EVgo. So this one from here, if I open that up in Google Maps, is going to be, oh, it thinks my location is the previous. 134 miles. That might be a stretch. I don't know if we can make that one. I would have to go pretty deep here to be able to do that. So maybe I do have to stop at that charge point. Damn, that's a bummer. Because we're at 48% right now, and it's saying 84 miles of range. It says at 80% I'll have 154, which does sound about right. I don't know. Maybe I'll go to 90% here. I'm going to switch it over to that just so I can go inside and do a couple things and then let it go a little bit past 80. But darn, that is really unfortunate. It's going to be a long stretch coming up here. And man, what a bummer that there's just like nothing in that area. Okay, well, I'm going to sleep on it. I'm going to go use the restroom, and then I'm going to come back and see what we're doing. All right, guys, we're going to stop this charge. We're at 89%, so we're just going to get out of here. And there's an Electrify America station that's kind of out of the way. The EVgo station I was going to go to seems like it's super busy. It said every single charger there is occupied, where the Electrify America is completely wide open. So I might do that instead, just because I don't feel like waiting in line. So yeah, let's unplug here and hit the road, get back on I-70 and be on with our day. So yeah, you can see right now it still wants me to stop at that charge point, but let's reroute and see if that changes now that I'm sitting at 183 miles of estimated range.
Please proceed to the highlighted route, and the route guidance will start.
Okay, now it's saying that Electrify America station, so that's actually good, I think. Which one is this? St. Charles, Missouri. Let's cross-check that with PlugShare. Oh, you know what? That one has a really bad rating, and I have it filtered by 8 and greater. Yeah, that one's got a 4.1 on PlugShare. I am not stopping at that one. Screw that. All right, so let's head out and go. So now that we've got a decent stretch of drive here, another hour and a half before I get to that Electrify America station, let's kind of talk about some of the things that I've noticed with the car in the last 24 hours that I've spent time in it. So first off, it seems quieter. That is good. Never going to complain about it being a little bit more quiet. Like I previously mentioned, no more rear motor whine at all. I haven't heard it once. That was something that really kind of annoyed me with my SEL. And even when I had other people in the car, they'd say, "Do you hear that high-pitched whining sound?" And I'd say, "Yeah." But I just kind of tried to tune it out, but there were times when I just couldn't, and it was just like in the front of my head all the time, just thinking about it. So really glad to hear that that is gone. Wireless CarPlay works very well. I haven't tried wireless Android Auto yet, but the wireless CarPlay works great. You get in the car and it connects within a few seconds. So I have nothing bad to say about it, other than the fact that, yeah, it does seem to draw a lot of battery power from my smartphone, from my iPhone 15 Pro. I did have an instance yesterday where it overheated on the charge pad. It wouldn't charge anymore. So that is something to keep in mind. Obviously, if you want to use wired CarPlay, you can still do that. The black bezel around the driver display and the infotainment screen, I think, was the right move to make. I do think it looks better than the white. And I do like the fact that even the trim that goes around it is all black now, so you're not going to get any reflection on the dashboard. I haven't noticed any reflection like I have seen with my Ioniq 6, which has the silver painted trim. The black pad over here is also going to get a lot less dingy, especially if you're using my eyewear holders and your fingers are kind of touching it. The grime will still be there, it'll just be hidden. But I do really like the redesigned center console. I like the phone pad being right there. I also like this phone slot here for your passenger. If they're not charging their phone, they just slip it in right there and it works perfectly fine. I think this layout for the cup holders makes more sense because when you have two side by side right here, it does make accessing the HVAC controls a little bit difficult. So I'm glad that it's now in a 90-degree orientation to the previous version. I'll tell you right now, the gloss black plastic is already bothering me. I wish it were a matte plastic, I really do. Having the buttons here is so nice. I'm so glad they moved them to hard buttons. You may have heard in an article, I think a month ago or so, Hyundai did a lot of market research and they found out that people really like buttons and they want buttons. So we've got tons of buttons here in the Ioniq 5 versus some of its competitors. I like the new kind of dark gunmetal color door handles in the car. I think it looks a little better than the really light silver that it used to be. So I'm cool with that change that they made there. So the digital mirror, if you guys have watched my videos for a long time, you know I kind of go back and forth on liking it or not liking it, depending on how long I'm in the car. Yesterday I did flip it on a few times and like immediately turned it off back to the standard mirror setting. But today I've left it in the camera mode and I think my eyes are starting to adjust to it now. So yeah, it's something I don't know if I'll use all the time, but I do like the option of having it. But I do appreciate the fact that I have it as an option. The surround view camera system is working really well. It's great for pulling into these charging spots that have a lot of snow banks around them and kind of snow strewn about. Makes it easy to kind of navigate around that. In terms of seat comfort, I don't really notice much difference. The side bolsters maybe are a little bit wider than the previous gen, but I would have to measure. It's hard to tell just by feel, but it's relatively similar. As you can see, with Highway Drive Assist 2 activated, I can go pretty long distances without it yelling at me to put my hands on the steering wheel, and it's pretty much rock solid. There was an instance last night where it kind of jerked the wheel a little bit into another lane, and that kind of caught me off guard, but besides that, it's been really good. So far, I'm much preferring the 8-speaker stereo in this car versus the 6-speaker in my SEL, Ioniq 5 and Ioniq 6. They both have more or less the same sound system. Yeah, there was some music I was listening to yesterday, and the bass just really came through from that sub, something that doesn't happen with the standard 6-speaker system. I'm also really liking the fact that you have the extra LED light that points backwards, as well as the lights in the backseat door handles. For filming at night, it really illuminates the cabin a lot better. In my old Ioniq 5, you're basically just illuminated by these two LED lights, and it's just really bad for illuminating the cabin for video work. So I think it's going to make for a much better viewing experience for you guys, having better lighting throughout the entire cabin. There's a few things I haven't tried yet, just because I've been so busy filming at the charging stops, and I didn't really have much time to get the car set up the way I really wanted to. So I haven't tried the relaxation seat yet. I think I might try it at the next charging station. And I also haven't set up phone as key yet. I want to get the key on my Apple Watch and my iPhone, and I want to test that out and see how that works. And you know, I haven't tested the rear wiper yet because it's been pretty clear sailing so far. No rain, no snow, no nothing. The back window is completely clean because of that. There's not really any road spray or anything, so it's staying clear, so I haven't tested that yet. So they did also lower the entire screen section down a little bit to make it easier to see through the steering wheel. I will say with the new CCNC software, it's much easier to see your speed, your range, all those other things. The top for me is a little bit cut off, but not too much. So I think that was the smart move, lowering the whole thing, because for many people that was a huge complaint. Ooh, Ozark Land. Speaking of the sub, I noticed under the false floor in the trunk, there is now a new electrical box which houses the contactor for the NACS port, which is a physical contact that switches it from level 2 charging AC to DC fast charging. So that takes up almost the entire right side section under the floor next to the sub. So you have a lot less space under the floor now. And even in the SEL, you're gonna have that box in the same location. So underfloor storage in the trunk does decrease a little bit. I really like that they added a dedicated setup button here that takes you right to the settings menu so you can tweak those as you please. Glad to see they did that. Another thing that I'm really looking forward to getting set up is the 2-person seat memory, because me and my fiance now most of the time share a car, but we're gonna have 2 parking spaces now at our apartment. I'm tired of having one of the cars back in Connecticut. It's just turned out to be a real hassle because I can't film with the Ioniq 6 on a short notice if I want to. But we'll have this new Ioniq 5 and my 2022 in Boston with me for at least a few weeks, and then I'll bring the Ioniq 6 back up after I sell the 2022 Ioniq 5. You guys might have seen my Facebook, and you guys might have seen my post the other day when I realized that you can now remotely set the seat heaters and the ventilation for all the seats in the car. So you can even turn on the rear heated seats through the BlueLink app, not the BlueLink app, the My Hyundai app they call it, when you remote start the car. So a lot of people are mad that the 2022 through 2024 Ioniq 5 don't have that. I don't know why they can't add that after the fact. Again, it all comes down to them wanting to sell more cars, I think, and just not giving these features to previous customers. I know it sucks, but they're a company that wants to make money, so that's one way to do it. Another thing that I'm really digging is the 2-stage heated steering wheel. So those of you who have existing Ioniq 5s, you'll know that when you turn it on, it heats up really quickly and it stays really hot for a long time. So having the ability to dial it down a little bit after it takes that edge off and just kind of maintain a nice low heat is really nice. I might even check it with a thermocouple just to see what the temperatures are at high and low setting. I think that might be interesting to see. Now, we do have a charge port door opening button right here to the left of the steering wheel. And honestly, I haven't used it yet because the new charge port door, the button works so much better. It's very clicky. There's never any question that it's not going to open. It works every time. So I haven't used that button yet, but maybe I'll use it at the next station just to make sure that it's actually working. Wow, my efficiency is actually looking pretty good. Temperatures are up a little bit and speeds have been relatively down. 40 miles so far, and we're averaging 2.3 miles per kilowatt hour. That's more or less what we were saying yesterday, so that's pretty good. I might actually be able to make it past St. Louis at this point and stop at my next charger on the other side of the city. The Missouri State Troopers got a lot of people pulled over. I've seen 3 people pulled over in this last 1.5 mile stretch. Another feature in the My Hyundai app that I discovered last night is you can now ask the car to send you 5 photos taken from the surrounding area of the car, as well as the 360-degree kind of hodgepodge view from around the car, and have it sent to your phone. So if you have the car parked somewhere, you're worried about it, you can actually see what's going on around it. I know the Kia EV6 has had this feature for a while now, but I don't think Hyundai has offered that to this point. So that's pretty cool. I did test it. It takes about 30 to 40 seconds to complete, but it worked well. What else? I'm trying to think. Yeah, that's really the majority of what I've really been able to play with in here so far. There's now a driver only button right here. That's nice and easy. No longer have to go into the menu system. With CCNC now, they've simplified the center screen here. So now you have 3 pages, but most of the things that you're scrolling through most commonly are in 1 page now. So you just have to rotate this dial. The knurling on it feels really nice. And then when you press the other button up here, the page button, The next screen is basically just a compass, or it has navigation instructions if you're using that system. And then the next one is your highway drive assist screen, which shows you everything around you, but you don't really need it when you have the head-up display. But yeah, I think that's the majority of like what I've actually experienced in the front here. We'll talk about more stuff as time goes on with this car, but that's kind of what I'm thinking so far. Hey guys, so we are in Chesterfield, Missouri, or Missouri, as I think they pronounce it down here. I think we're crossing the Missouri River right now. That's pretty cool. Very icy. But anyway, we're 3 minutes from the Electrify America station. This is, I think, the best bet around here. It has all new 350 kW chargers. I haven't checked to see what the state is right now, how many cars are there. It's a little off the beaten path, but I think taking this detour is going to bring me through downtown St. Louis, which should be pretty cool to see. And it looks like it's in a shopping center. I don't know if there's a Walmart here, but I need to find somewhere to use the bathroom. And I might grab lunch while I'm off the highway here. But either way, hopefully it is a better situation than the last Electrify America station I tried last night. All right, it looks like there's a Wendy's, a Shake Shack. Maybe I'll do Shake Shack for lunch. They got pretty good burgers. I've been using battery conditioning. We're up to 62 on the min. I started it a little too late, so we'll probably be a little slow, but whatever. Oh, there they are. Should have went in right there. That was a bad move. Wow, completely wide open. That is awesome. Wow, it is telling me the chargers are in a completely different location than they actually are. This destination is really off. Maybe that's why nobody comes here, because they come and they can't find it. It's fine by me. Yeah, it's telling me they're over here when they're back that way. That is really screwy. Somebody should probably edit that Google Maps. This is a really stupid parking lot. Almost missed him again, which would not have been fun. So which one should I take? I'll take the one on the end over here. All right, again, it is quite cold out. So I'm gonna get my jacket on here. Not really much at this station, unfortunately. So that kind of sucks. I might just hold my pee until I go get lunch. But that last drive, 122.1 miles, 1 hour and 51 minutes. Our efficiency was actually way up, 2.5 miles per kilowatt hour. So actually quite good compared to last night. You can see the temperature is up to 24 degrees. I gotta put my ND filter on, it's getting too bright. But let's go plug in and get this going. Oh, you know what? Let's open the charge port door with the button. Opened. So we got the adapter in. Let's go ahead, get the Electrify America station going. So this is charger number 6. And swipe to charge. Connecting to vehicle. Excuse me. Really quiet area over here. Payment declined. Great. You know, this is really turning into a real pain in the ass with Electrify America here. Why is my payment being declined? You know what? I'm honestly just going to pay with the app or pay with the card reader. Pay by credit card. Card error. Great. Let's try a different card. Approved. So I guess they don't take American Express. Initiating charging. So, once again, another app issue. This app is fucking garbage. I'm tired of it. So tired. So we're at 30% state of charge. I think we'll go up to 80. I need to find out where the next charging station is. So this charge is not going to be free, unfortunately, but whatever. I'm done dicking around with this stupid app that never works. So let's go to plug share. Okay, so yeah, I think our next stop is going to be the Firefly Grill in Effingham, Illinois. That's 117 miles. We should be able to make it there, no problem. Terre Haute, that is 186 miles. That'll be a stretch, so yeah, I think Effingham is our next charging stop. And then probably Terre Haute or somewhere up here near Indianapolis. Looks like there's another Walmart up there. It seems like it might be an option. I'll just bookmark it just in case so I can find it easier. So let's just see the route that's going to take me. Open that up in Google Maps. Directions. Wow, 2 hours flat. So yeah, it is going to go through, it looks like downtown St. Louis, which is cool because I'd like to see the St. Louis Arch with my own 2 eyes. So yeah, not too bad. 128 miles. So yeah, we're pulling 173 kW at 40% here. Our thermals are probably pretty good right now. Yeah, battery min 75. So now we're just gonna probably hang out around here. Maybe it'll go up a little bit to 200. Nope, actually just dropped down to 139, 140. So that's a little annoying. I do have this set for 90% though, so let's bring that down to 80%. Now it says 14 minutes to 80%, so we'll probably just go to 80. Okay, you can hear the cooling system starting to whirl up. That means that we're hitting our thermals here. So if I go and look at our temps right now, yeah, battery's getting hot. Battery max is over 100 degrees now. So it's gonna start cooling that down. All right, I gotta remember to take a photo of the finished results here because I paid with my credit card, so I can't get that information from the app. So I gotta remember to get that so I can do a total number of charging stops and how much energy we used for this trip. Still charging at 129 kilowatts, kind of slow. That kind of sucks, but we'll get to 80% pretty soon. I gotta pee so bad, but there's basically nowhere close by to these chargers, so I'm just gonna hold it till I get to Wendy's. Whew, man, I think this is the worst I've had to pee at a charging stop yet. And it's gonna be another long stint, getting into Effingham another 2 hours. And then we're gonna be rolling into Indianapolis around rush hour, so hopefully that's not too bad. It's gonna be nice to get some hot food in my stomach since yesterday I had a cold lunch with Jimmy John's. So let me get queued up my next stop at that Wendy's. We can rip out of here. That's 8 minutes away. Not too bad. It looks like it's on the way. So we'll start that. Oh, that's nice. That is pretty good. You know, if I weren't shooting all this video, I would definitely chill like this for a little bit. I honestly think we've got enough to get to Effingham now. I should just stop it now. Need 128 miles. Yeah, we got enough, but let's just let this go. 1 more minute. We'll just round it out to 80%. Come on, 80. There we go. So yeah, on this section here, we're gonna hit 1,000 miles on the car. Pretty cool. This is definitely the most miles I've ever put on a new car so quickly. Usually it'll take me weeks to put 1,000 miles on. And now we did it in just a little over 24 hours. So yeah, guys, I'm gonna go get some lunch, use the bathroom. I might take the food to go, to be honest. This way I can get back on the road. I really wanna try and waste as little time today as possible just because I got in so late last night from kind of dilly-dallying around. So I'd like to get a little bit earlier of a night tonight. So I'll see you guys in a bit. All right, guys, that was a pretty quick and painless stop. Took maybe 5 minutes to get my food and use the restroom. And 64 is right here. So pretty easy, easy stop. And it looks like we are gonna go right through the heart of St. Louis. So I'm pretty excited about that. So right now, 1 hour and 53 minutes to Effingham. Looks like there's nothing there other than that restaurant. It's kind of like in the middle of nowhere. So If I need to use the bathroom, I guess I'm going in the restaurant. Hopefully they're cool with that. But be happy to support their business if they've got like some snacks or something to nosh on. But yeah, I'm just gonna set the cruise control now and start eating. And I'm not going to bore you guys with that, so I will see you guys in a bit. So I just passed through St. Louis and kind of surprised how large the St. Louis Arch is in person. I mean, I've seen it in photos and video a million times, but I don't think they make it seem as large as it actually is. Pretty impressive structure. If I really didn't want to try and get to Columbus tonight, I would have stopped, but I'd rather go with my fiance at some point anyway. Everything's funner when you're with somebody. Doing stuff by yourself just doesn't have the same enjoyment factor, in my opinion. So next time I'm in St. Louis with someone, I'll definitely stop. And we just hit 1,000 miles, the first 1,000 miles on my new Ioniq 5. Here's to many more. Something I did want to point out to you guys too is the leather on the updated steering wheel here has kind of a more rough finish to it. The previous generation was relatively smooth. Here it's got like a nice textured leather feel. Feels really good, feels more grippy. Now, in regard to the third spoke on the new wheel design, it doesn't really bother me as much as I thought it would. You can still easily grip the bottom of the steering wheel, whether with your left hand or if you like to do something like this with your right hand. Yeah, it still works pretty well.
Turn right onto Avenue of Mid-America and then turn right.
All right, guys, so we just made it 127 miles, 1 hour, 57 minutes, 2.4 miles per kilowatt hour. According to the route planner, we are going to 80% here. So I'm just going to go ahead, plug in, get going, and then we will move on to our next charging stop. I think what I'm realizing now is I'm having issues. I think the problem I'm having with Electrify America right now is that it's trying to use my Ioniq 5 charging plan from the previous car, but it's finally recognizing that it's not supposed to work with this car. So I think that's the problem. So I'm just tapping to pay at these stations when I arrive now. I'm just going to keep doing that instead of fiddling around with the app. The only negative is that you don't get a receipt in the app for that charging session. But we had a nice conditioned battery, so we're pulling over 200 kilowatts here. It says 20 minutes to 80%, so just about 21 minutes total. But I'm gonna run into this restaurant here. Hopefully they're open. It's kind of an odd time between lunch and dinner. I think we might have one more stop before Iona. Yeah, I think we're gonna stop in Terre Haute after this. So we're done with Firefly Grill. Yeah, Springfield, Ohio. So that's 264 miles away. So I guess the Terre Haute is the next one. But that's only 75 miles away. So we don't even really need to do a full charge. But the built-in route planning is currently telling me to go to some EV Connect that's 131 miles away. I don't know what that is. So, 131 miles. And that is Plainfield. Oh, it must be this one. EV Connect. It's got a pretty low score. So, of course, it wants me to go to it because it's a poor score. Oh, it says under repair, too. So, it's not even functioning according to PlugShare. There's also a Tesla supercharger 132 miles away. So maybe the next move might be that Tesla supercharger in Plainfield. Oh, there's also an EA in Indianapolis I could go to. That's 145 miles. That might be a little bit more challenging to make it to, but that could be our stretch. But wherever we go after that is going to be the Iona Rechargery. So yeah, we're either going to the Walmart Supercenter or the Tesla supercharger. But either way, we're heading the same way, so we can figure that out after. I gotta go pee. I will be back. All right, guys, so we're about to finish charging in 3 minutes. We've got 155 miles of estimated range. It says 171 when we're fully full. But either way, I had a couple decisions to make here. The EA station looks really busy and potentially has D-rated chargers based on some of the latest PlugShare comments. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit up the Tesla supercharger. I'm going to manually condition the battery. But yeah, it is 132 miles. So we've got plenty of range to get there. And then from there, we're going to go to Iona. And I'm super excited about that. So I got 1 minute left here. Then we're going to roll out. And we will call that a charging session. So I will be right back, guys. So let's head out. Got a Volkswagen ID4 just pulling in. It's a pretty remote charger right here. The only thing you really have is this Firefly restaurant, but it looks like a pretty nice restaurant. It's too bad that if you were to sit down and eat a meal, you'd have to rush out to unplug if you did plug in to charge. So that kind of sucks. There's some stuff right here, but it's a pretty far walk. So it's still only 2:30, but I think we're about to cross into the Eastern time zone pretty soon. So it's about to be 3:30, I think, in the next few minutes or so. Feeling good. I'm not feeling too tired at this point. I think we're still going to have at least another 6 or 7 hours of driving today before we get to Columbus, Ohio. So it's going to be a long afternoon. I'm going to stop and get dinner too at some point. I haven't decided if I'll do a sit-down restaurant like I did last night or if I'll just get some fast food or something just to kind of make it a speedy process. So according to Google Maps, 4:21 arrival time, 1 hour and 55 minutes, 130 miles. So I'll see you guys when we get closer to the supercharger in Indianapolis. Another thing I'm noticing is it looks like from the 2024s, they recessed the rear door child lock a little bit more because you used to always accidentally press it because it was proud of this section right here, the armrest. So even if you just rested your arm here, you would almost always activate that. And now there's like a little ridge on this plastic divider between the rear windows and that button as well. I'll have to double check when I get home with mine, but that does seem like a change, which is a good change. Hey guys, so we are at Indianapolis Airport at a Tesla supercharger. We just did 130.3 miles. Took an hour and 51 minutes. You can see right there, 2.3 miles per kilowatt hour. I gotta look where we're going next, but we are on the verge of getting to Iona, but it might be kind of out of the way, a little too far, so we might have to stop and charge somewhere in the middle, and I gotta look and find out where we're going, but I'm gonna plug in now because this is gonna be a while. So we are charging on 3D. Good number. Charge here. I already plugged in, so we will hit 3D. Start charging. 42 cents per kilowatt hour. That's a lot cheaper than Electrify America. Initializing charging, and we are charging. So easy peasy. Yeah, not too shabby. But yeah, I got to figure out where we're going next, because we did just do 130 miles, but that was 80 to 7%. So we used 73% of the battery pack to get here. I'm just not really sure what there is between here and that Iona station. We're going to Columbus, Ohio. It's another 3 hours. Okay, so it's taken me on 465 around the city. And then once we get on the other side, we're taking 70 again. Looks like there's another supercharger I could go to. Oh, there's also an EVgo station that's 90 miles away. Maybe I'll hit that one up for a couple minutes then. I think that's going to be our next move. Right off the highway too. Oh, there is a EVgo at a McDonald's too. I really don't want to eat McDonald's after eating Wendy's for lunch though. And there's also another Electrify America station, so I guess we could stop there for a little while, because then I want to go to Iona, which is in Springfield, which, oh, maybe we could make it. 138 miles? That's 147. Yeah, we would really be pushing our luck with that, so I don't know. Maybe I'll go a little past 80 here. I don't know. That's a tough call. I gotta pee really quite badly, but then I will be right back. All right, guys, I think I've got a plan now. So I'm gonna charge here just enough to get me to a EVgo station. What town is that in? Brookville, Indiana. So when I get there, I'm gonna stop, charge for probably less than 5 minutes. I'm gonna get some dinner. There's a fried chicken restaurant there that looks pretty good, kind of casual, quick. Hop back out on the road. And then from there, we're gonna head to Ioniq, and I'm gonna test out the NACS chargers there. Now I just got a charging error. Charging time may be delayed due to charger problems. And it's now down to 77 kilowatts. So that kind of sucks. But I don't need much more to get to that EVgo station, so I don't think it's really the end of the world there. So, yeah, I'm going to navigate to that EVgo station in Brookville. Let's see how long that will take to get there. That's 109 miles, an hour and 54 minutes. It looks like I'm going to hit some traffic in Indianapolis. It is rush hour. Okay, actually, I do need a bit more to go. So this kind of sucks that the charging is having problems. I wonder it's because this station suddenly just got really full right after I got here. Time to take the ND filter off this because the sun is officially down. So I apologize, but it is going to get dark in here for the rest of the evening. But at least now I'm a little bit brighter. I'm going to give myself like a 20-mile buffer here. And then I'm going to head to that EVgo station. So this is the Pilot Travel Center. Looks like it's got 4 EVgo stations. None of them were occupied. And then after that, I'm going to stop and get some food, and then we're off to Ioniq. All right, in about a minute here, I'm going to unplug. We're at 116 miles of estimated range with 98 to that EVgo station. So I just want to have a little bit of buffer to play with just in case something happens. But you stop the charge here in the Tesla app. There's a stop charge button since there's nothing on the actual pedestal itself because this is a V3 supercharger, not a V4 with the little screen. So 1 more mile to go, and then we'll have 20-mile buffer. But man, this was a failure here. I regret stopping at this supercharger. I guess just rush hour is a bad time. It's been 28 minutes, 30 seconds to add only 44 kilowatt hours. That is pretty damn slow. But anyway, that's the price you pay for taking a risk like this. So I'm stopping charging and we're hitting the road. All right, I will see you guys at the EVgo station. All right, guys, we are officially in Ohio. We just crossed the border. I am at a Pilot Flying J EVgo station. We just did 96.7 miles, 1 hour and 45 minutes. We had a lot of traffic going through Indianapolis, 2.5 miles per kilowatt hour. But yeah, I am going to put in just enough to get us to Ioniq. I got to go in and pee right now, but I'm going to get this started. It should be pretty seamless, and I'll be back in a few. All right, guys, so I only need 52 miles of range to get to the Ioniq rechargery. So I'm currently pulling 183 kilowatts. Got 42 miles of range. Once I see it hit, I don't know, 60, I'll charge until I have 70 miles because I want to be able to condition the battery fully because I want to rip it at Ioniq. So I'd rather have a little too much. We're charging so quick that it doesn't make a difference. But I'm not too far from Columbus, which is where I'm going to call it for today, I think. About another hour and a half to Columbus. I might go a little east of the city. I haven't really decided yet because that's kind of be the split point where I'm either going to take I-90 back or I'm going to go through Pennsylvania. But I just got word from the tenant at my house that the boiler stopped working, so taking I-90 doesn't make a lot of sense. It would make more sense to go through Pennsylvania, up to Scranton, and then take 84 back to central Connecticut. So when I stop at the restaurant, I'm going to kind of take a look and see what I should probably do, and that's kind of going to dictate whether I stay west of Ohio this morning or whether I go east or kind of north of the city. So yeah, gonna check that out at dinner, but I'm getting pretty hungry here. Haven't really eaten in a while. It's been like I think 6 hours or so now, but this fried chicken place has pretty good reviews, so I'm going to check that out. It's 15 minutes up the road. So this has been a decent charging stop, another completely empty EV Go station. These things are just super reliable. Plug and charge works great, so I really can't complain. But yeah, I'm going to leave here in a minute or two once I hit, we'll say, I don't know, 85 miles of range. But it's getting cold. It's 17 degrees out right now, so temperature's dropping. It's just another night of not ideal long distance travel in an EV. Got to charge often, but we're almost done for the night, so I'm not too concerned about it. I got to try and find a place that hopefully has EV charging tonight, so I can start with 100% battery tomorrow morning. Not sure why this session is so slow. 187 at 38%. That seems really poor. My temps are fine too. It's kind of strange. You can see it's only 188 kilowatts, but you can see how bad my range is right now and my efficiency overall, because at 40% state of charge, it's estimating 75 miles of range. And had I had my current, well, not my current, my old Ioniq 5, it'd be even worse with the smaller battery pack. All right, I think we're pretty much good to go here. I'm going to stop this session, unplug, and go get dinner. See you guys soon. All right, guys, we are here at Ioniq, woohoo, in Springfield, Ohio. So you can see the CCS are over there. The NACS are over here on this side. Yeah, and we just did 50 miles, 45 minutes, 2.2 miles per kilowatt hour. We're at 17% state of charge, but if we look at the battery temps, we are perfect to rip. So I'm basically just going to plug in and charge for a while, because I want to start tomorrow with a pretty full battery pack. So I might sit here until 90%. We'll see how it goes. All right, let's open up the port. Come over here. Let's take a look. Start on the card reader. So we're going to be using 1B. So I'll pick 1B, take my credit card, tap to pay. It does put a $50 hold on your account, so we're approved. And now we're just gonna take this, plug it in, and we should be good to go. So it looks like this one is getting a charging bay canopy pretty soon. That'll be nice. Got a sheets here. Initializing. Takes a while to start up. There we go, though. All right. So what's cool with the Ioniq stations is you can get a charging curve image. So I'll be sure to take that at the end. So that was pretty easy. I do wish it started a little bit quicker, but you can see if I rotate this around, we're pulling over 200 kilowatts. So hopefully it goes up a little bit. We're only at 19% state of charge, so should be able to go up to 250. But yeah, it's looking good. It's a little chilly out, so I'm going to shoot from inside the car, but I've already talked about this in my Ioniq rechargery video, but I love the look of these chargers. They look so good. Kind of retro classic looking. And this is really nice to have a Sheetz right there. They got decent food from what people tell me, bathroom. So I'm going to actually go in and check out the bathrooms real quick because I do need to pee. I will be back shortly. Well, guys, that's going to do it for today. I'm done charging here. We're sitting at 89% state of charge with 204 miles of estimated range. Tomorrow, I think, is going to be a good day. It's going to be warmer, so I think we're going to get better efficiency. But we're going to be going through Pennsylvania most likely, which is really hilly, so our efficiency might actually suck. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm going to head to my hotel in Columbus, Ohio. I'm thinking I might get an earlier start tomorrow because tomorrow's going to be a long day because we're going through some much more densely populated areas versus going through Kansas and Missouri and all that stuff. Unfortunately, my hotel doesn't have any level 2 charging, so that's why I charged to 90% here today. But I'm going to head to the hotel now and call it a night. See you guys tomorrow. Good morning, everybody. So, trying to get an earlier start today at 6:42 a.m. It's going to be a long day. And we actually did get some snow last night. You can see it here on the roof of the car. I'm hoping that that's not a sign of things to come because driving through Pennsylvania with snow is not going to be fun if that's the case. But yeah, we are about to hit the road here. We've got another 700 miles to do today. I do have to stop at my home in Central Connecticut because I heard from my tenant yesterday that the boiler in the house stopped working. So now I got to do that on my way back to Boston. So it's going to be a very long day. I honestly might end up staying the night back at home with my mom before I go up to Boston, which is another hour and 45 minutes after that. So depending on when I get to Central Connecticut, I'll make that decision. But yeah, right now we're starting with a 77% battery pack. I'll show you guys that. Estimating 150 miles of range. Unfortunately, there's nothing really over 100, but less than 130 miles away. So I'm using the car's built-in route planner, and it wants me to stop at Electrify America in Mansfield, Ohio, which is, I think, a 6-stall Electrify America station. It's got good ratings on PlugShare, though, so it should work fine. Then after that is 110 miles to a Electrify America. It looks like a Sheetz. Yep. And then after that, another EA station in Dubois. And then I'm not going to be going to an EV Connect 7 kilowatt station. That doesn't make any sense. There's quite a few stations on this stretch here, so I think we should be fine. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should double check PlugShare. I'll be right back. All right, looks like there's plenty of options on I-80 going through Pennsylvania. If I need them, I can ditch out to some Tesla superchargers that are open to NACS equipped cars. So I don't think I have much to worry about in terms of finding chargers. I'm just going to get stuck at those super slow Tesla chargers. So that's not ideal, but you know what? I just want to get back, so I'm going to take what I can get. But yeah, I am not going to waste any more time here. I want to hit the road, get through Columbus before rush hour in the next hour or so. Don't know how bad it gets here, but I don't want to sit in it again. Indianapolis last night was the first bit of traffic I've hit on the entire trip, so it's been pretty good in terms of traffic. But yeah, let's hit the road. I'll touch base with you guys in a little bit. As you can see, guys, the weather has deteriorated here in central Ohio. I've got snow mode engaged. The radar sensor is blocked, so I don't have adaptive cruise control. I don't have any lane keeping assist, but I do have a rear windshield wiper, and I guess that counts for something. But boy, this road trip is really turning into quite the slog. I really wish that I could have had one last nice day of weather to get home, but now I get to deal with snow. So, oh joy. But the car is handling it quite well. These are brand new tires, so they have tons of tread. It's not like I'm driving on a 3-year-old set of tires like on my old Ioniq 5. But looking at the charging route planner, 12 minutes we'll be arriving at Electrify America station, and there we will be charging to 80%. Currently, the system says I need to stop and spend the night and charge on a... Oh, it did before, but it must have rerouted. Never mind. It was telling me somewhere in western PA I was going to have to spend the night and charge on a level 2 charger to get home. So it looks like it's taken me on I-80 to 84 in Scranton, which is great because I want to stop at the other Ioniq station right there and charge up using their NACS equipped Alpitronic hypercharger. But looking at the map, you can see here battery care accounts for 4.3 kilowatts, or 15% of our overall electricity usage. So now that the battery is going to be warm, it's going to use far less at the next charging stop. So our efficiency should go up, because right now it's only 2.1 miles per kilowatt hour for the last 100 miles. It's a little warmer than it was last night at 22 degrees Fahrenheit versus like 17. So things should improve, and if it keeps snowing, our speeds will be down, so that'll also help. But I will be back in a little bit here at the Electrify America station. 101 miles, 1 hour 49 minutes, 2.1 miles per kilowatt hour. We're here at this Electrify America station. There's a Volkswagen ID4, looks like hogging a 350. I think I've got the last one, but I'm going to plug in and I will be right back. Which one is this? This charger 2. All right, we are finally charging. Took me a minute because Electrify America stations suck when you aren't just swiping to charge. But our battery is nice and warm, so it's saying 19 minutes to 80%, which still is less than ideal since I'm sitting at 31% state of charge. But looking at the built-in route planner, our next charging stop is going to be an Electrify America station at a Sheetz, which is 109 miles away. It says 1 hour and 53 minutes. I would have to imagine that's probably because of slow going from the snow. I got to check the weather and see what we're heading into, because this could actually get really bad if it stays this way. I did not see this in the forecast at all. So it looks like there's a good bit of snow coming through. So it looks like it's snowing all throughout Pennsylvania, at least western Pennsylvania too. So looks like this is what I'm going to be contending with for the foreseeable future. So this really sucks. And this is why I'm going to be avoiding from Erie up to the Rochester area, because this lake effect snow is supposed to be here most of the day, I think. So bummer. Yeah, I did just have a couple close calls skidding around on these tires because they are just all seasons. They are not meant for snow driving. So I'm going to have to be really careful, because the last thing I want to do is crash my brand new car that I've spent the last 2 days driving back to New England with. So I'm going to go in, use the bathroom here at Walmart, come back in 14 minutes. We should be at 80%, and then we can be on our way to that next Electrify America station. It was telling me there was a Pilot Flying J coming up soon, though, so I honestly might just do that. It looks like there's one in Youngstown. I think I'm going to go to that one. I really do prefer the Pilot Flying J's versus Electrify America. So where's that Electrify America station? That one also must be in the Youngstown area. So that's 56 cents per kilowatt hour. Pilot Flying J. What is the price on that? Ooh, 63 cents per kilowatt hour. Wow, I did not think those were that expensive. Yikes. But just to not have to deal with the stupid Electrify America chargers, I might just do that. So I'll probably put that in, get that queued up into Google Maps as my next destination. 117 miles, that's pretty good. But at least I have a few options there. Say something's wrong with the EVgo station, I can always go to Electrify America. But I'm going to go use the restroom, and I will be right back. All right, so we got 3 minutes left. So I'm going to go to that Pilot Flying J station around the Youngstown, Ohio area, right before the Pennsylvania border. Fun fact, I went on a road trip a couple of years ago when we moved my fiance out to Minneapolis for grad school. And we stopped in Youngstown to stay in a hotel at I think it was a Motel 6 for the night. We got our key, went to our bedroom, opened up the door, and there was a butt-ass naked man just laying on the bed. And he just looked over his shoulder at us, didn't scream, didn't shout, nothing. I flipped the lights off, said sorry, 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 and closed the door, and we ran. It was weird. And then I went back to the front desk, and the guy who was on the graveyard shift there was like, oh, okay, we'll get you a new room. He sounded so unfazed by it, like it happens all the time. Very bizarre. So that's my experience with Youngstown, Ohio. Charging complete, I'm gonna unplug, I'll be right back. It does seem like the snow is letting up a little bit here, so I'm thankful for that, but looking at the radar, I know it's probably gonna come back. But yeah, let's hit the road. Get back into snow mode, because I definitely need that. And we will be on our way. I mean, you can have snow mode all you want, but if you don't have winter tires, it really don't matter, which is clearly evident by that slide right there. I really am looking forward to testing this thing out with proper snow tires. Definitely need to take this turn a little slow. Yeah, looks like it's going to be manual driving for a while here, because the front sensors are still blocked even though I cleaned them off. So I guess that didn't really help. Really wish I had my snow tires right about now, especially since my efficiency is already so bad. It really doesn't make too much of a difference at that point. But looks like we're getting the green, so here we go. At least the highway looks a little clear. Yeah, that's good. It looks like traffic is still flowing. All right, guys. Well, I will see you as we get closer to Youngstown, Ohio. See you later. All right, guys, we have arrived at the Pilot Flying J in Youngstown area. I don't know the name of the town. I've given up on trying to remember at this point, but that drive truly sucked. It's been snowing basically since I left the hotel this morning. 1 hour and 17 miles, 1 hour, 117 miles, 2 hours and 10 minutes, averaging 2.5 miles per kilowatt hour. That was just a rough drive. I'm hoping the further east we get in Pennsylvania, the more this lake effect snow hopefully stops. I think it's lake effect snow, but I'm going to plug in, go use the restroom. I honestly might grab lunch now here if they have anything, because this next stretch could be another 2 hours for all I know, and I'm getting pretty hungry. So I'm going to plug in, and I will be right back, guys. Should just automatically authenticate. Payment has been authorized. All right, looking good. Okay, so we just plugged in. The charging should initiate here any second. There we go. Battery's nice and warm, 68 on the min, so it's close to perfect. So let's go back to the built-in nav and see what it says our next move should be. Because I turned it off a little while ago and switched to Google Maps because it didn't want to come to this Pilot Flying J. It wanted me to go to the EA station.
Turn right, and then the EV charging station is to your right.
Thank you, baby. All right, so it's saying... Okay, it's because we're so low right now. It's saying that we should stop here. I guess it doesn't think that we're here. What is this? Okay, that's in Dubois, Pennsylvania, I guess. So we'll go to that Electrify America. Then it wants me to go to some EV Connect station and go to 95%. Oh, that's a level 2 charger. So that's super useful. So it doesn't seem to think that I can make it across Pennsylvania, but I don't know why it's not showing me the Tesla supercharger network in here, because I know there are plenty of them that are open to NACS equipped vehicles. So that's pretty annoying that it's doing that. I'm going to take a look at a map after I go use the restroom, and we'll talk more about it. Maybe I'll go to that Walmart Supercenter then. Yeah, because it's going to be a lot quicker than going to that Tesla station. And after what happened yesterday with that derated Tesla stop, I really don't want to get stuck sitting there only getting 70 kilowatts. So I think that's going to be the move. I'm going to go to that Walmart and charge at that EA station. It's 102 miles. It's almost another 2 hours. It looks like there's an accident on I-80 somewhere around Grove City. So that's going to add some time. Oh well. But we're down to 1 minute here, so I'm going to get ready to unplug. And then, we just finished. All right, I'm going to go unplug. I'll say this, auto charge from EVgo is great. I cannot wait for everybody else to have plug and charge, because this is just the way it should be. Just plug in, everything's taken care of, walk away, no worries. So anyway, I will be back in a bit. Hey, so I am back in Dubois, Pennsylvania at Electrify America. Nobody else is here. Got the full station to myself. Gonna go ahead and get it activated, get us going to 80%. The battery is nice and warm. Actually, battery conditioning literally just completed, just that second, 69.8. So we just did 105 miles, 1 hour and 46 minutes, 2.3 miles per kilowatt hour, with 21% state of charge left. Closing in on 1,700 miles on the odometer. But I'm going to plug in, go pee, and I also got to get some washer fluid, because the windshield washer fluid warning came on saying I'm low. So got to get some of that, but I'll be back in a few minutes. All right. That was fucked. I don't know why it's reconnecting to the vehicle. I really truly do not know what the frickin' issue is with Electrify America. Why isn't this working? Please unplug. Let's try the other one. So I guess it was the connector. So the good connector is actually the one that doesn't work here. Who would have thought? All right, well, getting that started was annoying, but at least we're charging now. 21 minutes to 80%. The most effed up thing here is that the car doesn't think that I can make it to the next charger without staying overnight somewhere and charging to 100% on a level 2. So I'm going to investigate that after I go get some washer fluid and go to the bathroom. Be right back. This thing is dirty. Holy cow. All right, guys, I'm back. Cleaned the front grill off. It was absolutely coated. It was almost like a chunk of ice. So maybe I'll get my adaptive cruise control back, but the snow doesn't look like it's going to let up anytime soon. So I think this is just going to be a miserable afternoon of driving. But anyway, I looked at PlugShare, and I've got plenty of options. There's a few Tesla stations. And if I do stop, I only need to add a few kilowatt hours of energy, because the Ioniq in Scranton is only 161 miles away. Right now, at 77%, I have 156 miles of estimated range. Oh, it's 201 miles from here. So yeah, I'm gonna have to stop somewhere else. There is a EA station in Bloomsburg at a Sheets, which is 121 miles away. I think it's as the crow flies. But yeah, I'd rather do that than stop at the Tesla supercharger. But there are a few. Actually, maybe I'll stop at this one. This one's 74 miles away, an hour and 15 minutes. And it's right off the highway. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Well, just for ha-has, let's see what the navigation system says I can do right now. Because last I checked, it said I couldn't make it across Pennsylvania without stopping for the night, which is just not accurate. Oh, it still seems to think that.
The route guidance will start now.
Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, so right now it says stop and charge to 100%. I'm not doing that. I'm going to ditch the built-in nav, and I'm going to rely on CarPlay. So it's an hour and 15 minutes. I'm going to unplug, and we'll hit the road. So we really did get spoiled the first couple days of this road trip. Had perfect weather. Now it's just like the complete polar opposite. But at the same time, it's kind of nice to get to test the car in the snow and really see its cold weather capabilities. The Michelin premises that are on this car are really not good in the snow. If you do any sort of driving in the snow, I really don't recommend these tires. I would definitely recommend a dedicated set of snow tires or all-weather like the Michelin Cross Climate, because these just slide all over the place, even when you're in snow mode. Snow mode doesn't really help you with grip. I am back. We are at that Tesla supercharger. There's nobody here at all. Just at 73.4 miles in 1 hour and 7 minutes, 2.4 miles per kilowatt hour with 44% state of charge left. Battery temps are pretty much good. Gonna plug in, and then we're gonna figure out how much we need to get to Ioniq. Just like that, we are plugged in. Let me open up the Tesla app. We are on 3D. That's the one I used yesterday. Ooh, there's not a lot of service here. Man, if I couldn't connect to the app, I would be absolutely screwed right now. Thank God I have service. Just barely. 53 cents per kilowatt hour. And we're charging. It's like a 10 to 15 second handshake. It's really not bad at all. It's actually pretty freaking good compared to Electrify America and PlugShare and the like. But yeah, let's check out how far it is to Ioniq. 126 miles. So I will put in up to, let's go 140 miles. And then we'll head out. I want to show up there with around 10% or lower. But yeah, you can see we're pulling basically full speed here. 121 kilowatts right now, going up, up, up. And it looks like we're maxed out at 123 right now. So not too bad. This should only take a few minutes. It says 17 minutes to 80%, but we're going a little less than 80%. So maybe 10, 12 minutes, then we'll be done. But yeah, I wish there was a bathroom here. The Dunkin' Donuts that's right here is currently under construction, so I can't piss. But there is a gas station across the street. Yeah, it's 2.5 hours to Scranton, so it's going to be a long drive. I might stop and use a restroom, but there's probably a service center somewhere between here and Scranton. I would imagine a rest stop that I could use. Maybe I'll do that. But probably hold off on dinner until I get back to Vernon. It'll probably be pretty late, but I might meet up with some friends later if they're around after I fix the boiler. But yeah, I will be back in a few. So according to Google Maps, it's 5 hours and 40 minutes back to my home in Central Connecticut, but there's going to be at least 2 more charging stops after this one, so that's another 40 minutes, so we'll call it 6.5 hours by the time I leave here. So 8:30, that's going to be almost 9 o'clock. So by the time I get back to Boston, it'll be probably 11 o'clock, because there's going to be another charging session somewhere in there to get back to Boston. So yeah, it's just turning into a real long day. Definitely the longest day so far, considering I got a pretty early start today, about an hour earlier than previous days. But it is what it is. That's just the nature of dealing with snow, dealing with cold, low range, low efficiency. I really can't wait to take this thing on a summer road trip. I am going to put on my Martian wheels, and I think I'm going to put on the Hankook Ion Evo AS tires that I bought like 2.5 years ago now and haven't done anything with. So I'll put those on the lighter, smaller 19-inch wheels, pop them on here, and I bet our efficiency is going to go way up versus the stock wheels. So that'll be a summer video to stay tuned for. So for no apparent reason, at 60%, it dropped to, now it's going back up. Never mind. It dropped to like 84 kilowatts, and now it's back up over 100. I don't know why it did that. But we're about to unplug here once this hits 140 miles of range. Give myself a little bit of a buffer. Actually, I'll go 145. All right, we've officially got enough charge, I think. We're at 140 miles of estimated range. I'll just give it a couple more minutes. Who knows what could happen between here and Scranton. I'm ready to be home, though. It's been a long trip. All right, I'm stopping the charge. I guess I got to do that via the app. Forgot about that. Stop charging. And boom, just like that. All right, we're hitting the road. It is 2 hours and 27 minutes to Scranton, 126 miles. So sounds like there's going to be some traffic. See you there. Hey, guys. You can tell by the background I made it to Ioniq and Scranton. That was a long one, a lot of traffic. The snow is still coming down since freaking 7 a.m. The snow has just not stopped. 126.6 miles, 2 hours and 10 minutes, 2.5 miles per kilowatt hour with 12% left. You can see battery temps are just about to reach their perfect level of 70 degrees on the battery min, so I'll give that another second. But I still got like another 3.5 hours to get back to Connecticut, plus another charging stop, so 20 minutes, so close to another 4 hours. It's 5 o'clock now. It's going to be like 9:30 by the time I get back. Plus, I'm starting to get hungry soon, so I guess I might just get food here just to make my life easier. But I'm going to plug in, and I will be back. We're going to use 1B again, just like last night. Again, like the last one, charging canopy arriving early 2025. Nice. 21 minutes. Of course it's fucking empty. So, looks like it's going to be another solid charging session right now. 21 minutes to 80%. We're not yet getting peak rates yet. You can see there 200 kilowatts right now. So not quite sure why. But nice to be here at a Sheetz. I'm going to run inside, use the restroom. Maybe grab some food if anything looks good to me. I think our next charging stop should be the last before we actually get back to the Hartford area. And that's going to be probably in Newburgh, New York. I got to look at the map, but that's the most likely spot. There's really not a whole lot on the 84 section between Newburgh, New York and Hartford, Connecticut. It's a total dead zone for some reason. It's a highly traveled route. I don't know why there's not more. But I'll check PlugShare. It's been a while since I've looked at that area, and I will report back pretty soon. All right, I am back from the store. Got myself some Fritos, one of my favorite snacks. Not as good as Trader Joe's elote chips, though. Those things are crack. But anyway, we're about to finish charging here in 4 minutes to 80%. And then we're going to head to the Tesla Supercharger in Brewster, New York. I just looked at the Electrify America app, and as usual, the superchargers in Newburgh are full. Every time I've gone there, there's always been a line. I'm not dealing with that. I'm going to go to a Tesla Supercharger where I know it's going to mostly be empty, and it'll take me 10 minutes longer to charge, but that's a much better situation than waiting in line at EA. But man, this snow will just not stop. From the second I walked out of my hotel this morning, it's been snowing. I'm so over it. I feel like I'm cursed with travel through Pennsylvania. When we moved my fiance back from Minneapolis over the summer, it literally rained the entire drive across the entire state. Now, it had started raining all the way back in Indiana, but all of Pennsylvania, it rained. It was just so freaking annoying. I think I'm cursed. I don't know what to do. But I've been drinking some Gatorade. But yeah, it's going to be a long evening, especially if I have to spend a lot of time working on the boiler to get that working. It's just like the culmination of just like the worst things possible for today. Finding out that my boiler's broken and having to drive 700 miles in the snow. So real fun. I just can't wait to be home. But this Ioniq charge went perfectly fine. Temperature hasn't really gone up either. It's still 25 degrees. It's been bitterly cold the last 3 days. It's just my luck. I've just got bad luck. And of course, I did hear that my local Hyundai dealership did get this exact same car 2 days ago. So in reality, I didn't really need to go out to Colorado if I had just been a little bit more patient. But I think this has still been a good road trip. I got to hang out with the electric principal, Bob, and also shot a few videos with Jordan from Out of Spec. So it was a good experience. It just took a lot of my time this week. I'm sorry for all of you who haven't been getting responses to messages, comments, emails. I just haven't had time to look at anything. It's just been drive, get to the hotel, talk to my fiance, and then basically go to bed. So we're 1 minute away from this being done. Just finished. I'm going to unplug, and then we're going to go. So we're heading out. I'll see you guys in Brewster. Or that EA station if it opens up, but I doubt that. Hey guys, I am now in Brewster, New York. I made it with 14% state of charge. Did 127 miles, 2 hours and 2 minutes, 2.4 miles per kilowatt hour. This drive will just not end. The snow is just following me. It will not end. I am so exhausted from driving in the snow. But I'm going to go plug in at this Tesla supercharger. I'll be right back. Here's the stats from that trip. And the battery is nice and warm, so we should get full power. I really apologize for sounding so negative at this point in the trip, but just like, seriously, I couldn't just get 3 nice days. I had to get this day. I don't know if you've ever driven for almost 13 hours in the snow, but it's just like exhausting just from seeing the snow coming towards the front of the car and just spray and constantly washing the window. I had to get more washer fluid because it was so grimy and dirty. The radar adaptive cruise control is not working, so I haven't been able to use that all day. So I've basically been driving manually since 7:30 this morning, and it's just very tiring. And I'm not going to make it to Boston tonight. I'm going to stop at my mom's house in central Connecticut and stay there for the night. Then tomorrow morning I will go and check out the boiler at my house and see if I can get it working. All right, so now I need to figure out what my next move is. I'm probably going to stop at the Manchester Electrify America station. This way tomorrow morning I don't have to charge before I head back to Boston. Probably mid-morning or afternoon. But let's see how many miles it is to the Manchester. 74 miles. So I just really need to only need to add about 100 miles here. So I'm going to leave here at about 87 miles, 88 miles, and then I will stop at the EA in Connecticut. So right now we're pulling 126 kW. 35 miles of range. We're about to turn over the 2,000 mile mark in the car, 1976 right now, but I'm obviously going to go charge at EA at a faster rate than sit here and get a 80% state of charge. All right, guys, we got 94 miles of range, and it only takes 74 miles to get to the charger, so we got a little bit of a buffer and some juice for battery conditioning, and I will see you guys in Manchester, Connecticut. Hey guys, we made it to Manchester, Connecticut. Hallelujah, I'm almost to my mom's house. And yeah, that was a pretty uneventful journey. 73 miles, an hour and 20 minutes, 2.8 miles per kilowatt hour. It's a little warmer out, a little slower. Battery's nice and warm. I'm gonna get this thing going. And then I think I'm gonna order a Detroit style pizza from the local pizzeria that I really like. They've got a good Detroit style. So I'll see you guys in a bit. So after a couple minutes of futzing around with the EA app and my credit card, I finally got it going. I think this session is going to be on my unlimited 2022 Ioniq 5 charging plan somehow. I just honestly give up. I don't get it. I got to delete that from the EA app anyway since it's going to expire in about a week. But yeah, this charging session looks pretty good. 210 kW right now at 29% state of charge. This is likely going to be the last DC fast charging stop of this trip because tomorrow when I go to my house to work on the boiler, I'm going to plug in on the level 2 charger there and hopefully add, I don't know, 30 to 40 miles of range at that point. Well, probably a lot less considering the efficiency, maybe 20 miles of range. I'll probably be there for an hour or two. But yeah, then I'll get back to Boston and charge at the apartment. So, kind of a recap. Lots of charging. I honestly have no idea how many charging stops I made. It's got to be over 22, maybe over 23. But I'm going to add that all up, and at the end of this video, you'll see my talking head from the apartment, from my studio, and we'll go over all the charging details from the trip. So I'm going to charge up to 80% here because I'm getting full charging power. We just hit 250 kilowatts. But I will see you guys tomorrow morning. We'll talk about what's going on. So that's the road trip. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know it was a long one. If you made it all the way through, kudos to you. You're a real trooper. But yeah, all around, really great time. I would definitely do it again. So definitely stay tuned for more future road trips. I really do need to start putting some more miles on my Ioniq 6. So I think maybe this summer I'll do an Ioniq 6 road trip, just because that thing is going to be a beast in terms of how far you can go between charging stops when it's actually nice out. So stay tuned for something like that later this summer, hopefully. But until then, if you guys like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Consider becoming a channel member for as little as 99 cents per month. For $3 per month, you can gain early access to all of my videos. Check out my store at ioniqguy.com for cool accessories for your Hyundai, Kia, or Genesis EV. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one. Take care, everybody.